Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the FXR season opener here at the Canadian Power Toboggan Championships facility. We are getting ready to go today with race number one, the Junior 1 F500 class for 10 to 13-year-olds. The 434 will be Miranda Peterson out of Lancaster, Minnesota, riding a 1989 GPR chassis. And the 23 is Dylan Fox out of Balmoral, Manitoba, on a 2001 Polaris. So race number one for the day, the Junior 1 F500 class. That will be followed by the Pro Champ 440 class, round one for race number two of the day for 5 laps. Race number 3 on your schedule will be the Relic Mod SS Single, Fan-Cooled, and III Air Final for 3 laps. Race 4 is the Sport Formula 500 class. So if you're in those classes, you need to be working your way to the staging area immediately. All right, race number 1. Beautiful December day here in Beausejour as the 434 comes to the starting line. That's Miranda Peterson out of Lancaster, Minnesota, up against Dylan Fox. This race, 3 laps, the first race of the day. On the schedule so far, we have a total of 40 races. Race number 1 getting set to go, and here we go, the 434 with a big hole shot. Miranda Peterson. New this year, ATV racing, of course. Ice bikes back again this year, but we do have some ATV racing for you as well. That ought to be interesting on the big half-mile oval here in Beausejour. 434 Miranda Peterson. Pretty much done lap number 1 as she comes out of turn number 4 of this 3-lap race. Miranda Peterson out of Lancaster, Minnesota on the 1989 GPR chassis, dominating this one so far. 23 Dylan Fox out of Balmoral, Manitoba on a 2001 Polaris trailing here. Riley on the front straightaway is our flagman. As your leader works turn 3 and 4, like to welcome everybody to the facility, of course sponsored by FXR Racing, Wet Distribution and Sales, MacDown, and the Howland Hotel. White flag is out for your leader. Also like to thank the RM of Brokenhead and the town of Beausejour for all of their generous support. White flag is out for your race leader. This is Miranda Peterson out of Lancaster, Minnesota on a 1989 GPR chassis, working turn number 3 and 4. Riley has the checkered flag in hand, and this will do it for race number 1. Your winner will be Miranda Peterson, taking race number 1 in the Junior F500 class for 10 to 13-year-olds. Nice ride for Miranda Peterson. Dominated off the starting line and takes the win. All right, next up, race number 2, Pro Champ 440 class, round 1 for 5 laps. The number 88 is going to be Brennan Boxall out of Warman, Saskatchewan, riding a 2014 Wall chassis. The number 39 out of Greenbush, Minnesota, sponsored by Wall Brothers Racing. This is Tom Olson, and he is aboard a 2020 Polaris Wall chassis. On the number 8 out of Goner, Manitoba, 2016 Skidoo chassis, Travis McDonald. This sled completely rebuilt. Talked to him in the pit area yesterday, and, well, bad crash in March of 2019 for the number 8, and that sled has been completely revamped, completely rebuilt. So Travis McDonald on the 8 on a completely new sled for 2019 here in December. The number 13 in his 25th year of racing, and we're told his final year of racing. This driver is out of Tomahawk, Wisconsin on a 2019 Polaris, sponsored by Amsoil. This is Nick Van Stridonk. On the 220, 3-time TLR Cup champion out of West Chicago, Illinois, the Red Bull Skidoo is Gunnar Stern. And the Wild Child is here, the 7NY. Missed last year, was here a couple of years ago. He is out of Morrisonville, New York. For the first time ever riding a Skidoo in his 13-year career, a 2020 Arctic Cat. The 7NY is Nick Lagoy, the Wild Child, out of Morrison, New York. And the 102 is Blaine Stevenson. He is out of Hutchinson, Minnesota on a 2020 Polaris. Good to see Nick Lagoy on the 7NY out of Morrisonville, New York, the Wild Child, aboard the Arctic Cat. Very, very nice looking sled. Saw it in the trailer yesterday, and he's looking forward to competing here in 2019 and 20. As I told you, he missed last year, but is back this year and intends to race the Pro Champ class and, of course, the all-new F3 class. We'll tell you a little bit more about that as the day rolls on, but Nick Lagoy out of Morrisonville, New York, on the 2020 Arctic Cat. All right, as the Pro Champ 440s get to the starting line. Tension in the pit area. Race number 3 following this one will be the Relic Mod SS Single Fan Cooled and Free Air Final. Race 4, Sport Formula 500. Race 5, the Sport Formula 500 class. Nick Van Stridonk on the number 13 out of Tomahawk, Wisconsin. Started racing kitty cats at age 4. He is now 29. He is in his 25th and final year of competition here. What a great guy to talk to in the pit area. Great team. His dad heads the team. What a professional operation they have. 25 years of racing for the number 13 of Nick Van Stridonk, as he rolls that good-looking Polaris to the starting line. Gunnar Stern on his outside on the Red Bull XPS Skidoo. There's the Wild Child, the 7NY, the Arctic Cat. 13 years on a Skidoo, now on an Arctic Cat. Second from the outside, Blaine Stevenson on the extreme outside. Watch this guy go. Itchy trigger fingers on the starting line, as we'll try this one again in the Pro Champ 440 class. Brennan Boxall on the 88, Tom Olson on the 39, the 8, Travis McDonald out of Manitoba. 13 is Nick Van Stridonk, the 220, Gunnar Stern, 3-time TLR Cup champion. Last year's March winner of the Canadian Power Toboggan Championships. 7NY, Nick Lagoy on the Arctic Cat. And the 102, Blaine Stevenson, the Wall Brothers Racing 2020 Polaris out of Hutchinson, Minnesota. Well, the 88 of Brennan Boxall will start at the back of this one here in race 2, the Pro Champ 440 class. And that looks like a good start. Here we go. 39 with a great start. That's Tom Olson out of Greenbush, Minnesota. The Wall Brothers Racing entry looking strong here. What a race down the front straightaway. Look at this one. 102 of Blaine Stevenson comes up to join the party in turn number 1 and 2. On the outside is the 102 and moving quickly here. 39 in the 102 with lots of speed here early. The number 8 of Travis McDonald on an all-new sled after a crash in March, looking real good as well. The 88 with trouble after a false start. Brennan Boxall pulls his sled to the inside of the front straightaway. Brennan Boxall out of Warman, Saskatchewan on a 2014 wall chassis. Travis McDonald out of Goner, Manitoba on the 2016 Skidoo is looking silky smooth here in race number 2 of the day, as he leads the Pro Champ 440 class, round 1 for 5 laps. In the 4 spot is the number 13, Nick Van Stridonk, out of Tomahawk, Wisconsin. 2019 Polaris, sponsored by Amsoil, as well as FXR. Checkered flag is coming out, and it looks like the number 8's going to take it, followed by the 102 and the 39. Well, Travis McDonald out of Manitoba with lots of luck here in December. He once won both days, Saturday and Sunday in December, so he knows his way around this racetrack, and he loves it. He loves the big half-mile oval and proves it right there as the number 8 out of Manitoba, Travis McDonald, taking the win on the XPS Skidoo number 8. Great ride. Followed for just a little bit, took the lead, and never looked back. The 88 with some assistance there on the front straightaway. That is Brendan Boxall out of Warman, Saskatchewan. He will take that sled back to the pit area and have a look. That was race number 2 in the Pro Champ 440 class, round 1 for 5 laps. That one now in the history books. Coming up next, attention in the pit area, race number 3, the Relic Mod SS single, fan-cooled, and free air final for 3 laps. Scratch on your program, the 69 of Colin Demianic. All right, on your program, the number, I believe that was 28, becomes the 8. Ray Gosselin will ride the number 8 out of St. Malo. The 11 is Don Keir out of Winnipeg. And the 13 is going to be Kieran Lowen. Scratch the 69 of Colin Demianic out of Winnipeg on the 1970 Skidoo. He will not make this program for race number 3. Race 4 will be your Sport Formula 500 class, followed by the Sport Formula 500 class once again. So 2 heats of them. Race 6, Junior 2 Stock 380. Race 7, the IFS 440X class. And race 8 will be the ice bikes before the intermission. So if you are in those classes, we ask that you work your way to the staging area as soon as you can. All right, looking for a total of 3 competitors here for race number 3. 3 laps will be the distance. The 13, Kieran Lowen, the 11, Don Keir, and the 8, Ray Gosselin, will be required at the starting line. I want to welcome you once again to the Canadian Power Toboggan Championships facility. Don't forget, we are back in March for the official Canadian Power Toboggan Championships. There is the wild child. That is Nick Lagoy out of New York, the 2020 Arctic Cat, heading back to the pit area. Beautiful looking sled, in need of a little repair, but I'm sure they'll get that looked after very, very quickly and get back on with racing in the Pro Champ 440 class later today. Several heats of those, of course, as our race number 3 for the day comes through turn 3 and 4. 3 competitors, 3 laps in this final for Relic Mod, SS single, fan-cooled, and free air. Here we go. Riley calls them to the starting line. We're ready to go. Don't forget, the beer garden is open. And in there you will find, of course, ice-cold beverages and CPTC promo wear. So get that for Christmas for the snowmobile fan in your family. Great-looking merch available for 2019. Get it before Christmas. Green flag, here we go. Well, the number 13 of Kieran Lowen out of Altona, Manitoba, riding a 1971 Yamaha sled, gets the whole shot. Don Keir is on the 11. The 8 is Ray Gosselin out of St. Malo, another 71 Yamaha. One lap down, the 11 in the second spot, followed by the number 8. of Ray Gosselin out of St. Malo. Number 13 flying down the back straightaway. Kieran Lowen is on the number 13 out of Altona, Manitoba on the 1971 Yamaha. Relic Mod, SS Single, fan-cooled free air final for 3 laps on the racetrack. White flag coming out this time. One to go. About a half a lap to go now for your leader, working into turn number 3. Don't forget, we are broadcasting live on 88.9 FM if you're in your vehicle or in the pit area. 88.9 FM is the place on the FM dial for the broadcast. Checkered flag is out. No question about this one. The number 13 wins this one. That is Kieran Lowen out of Altona, Manitoba. 1971 Yamaha taking checkers in race number 3 of the day. Second spot appears to be the number 11 of Don Keir out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. That is a 69 Arctic Cat. Number 11 taking second spot. Third will go to the number 8 of Ray Gosselin out of St. Malo. All right, here comes race number 4 already. The Sport Formula 500 class will have a pair of heats in this one. Race 4, Sport Formula 500, Heat 1. 3 will qualify to the final. This one will be 5 laps. The 964 is Colton Grabber out of Clear Lake, Minnesota on an 89 Polaris. The 148 is Harley Ehlers out of Medford, Wisconsin. Also out of Medford, Wisconsin is the 2B. This is Dylan Bradner. The 965 is Austin Graber out of Clear Lake, Minnesota. The 67 is Amber Stevens. The 35 is Dylan Barron. Dylan is out of Enola, Manitoba, riding a 1989 Polaris. The 829 is Jesse Pescatelli out of Lebo, Manitoba, riding a 1990 Polaris. And the 9 is Stefan Carignan out of Winnipeg. He's riding a 1991 Skidoo here in the Sport Formula 500 class. All right, race 4, Sport Formula 500, always very, very competitive. Dylan Barron on the number 35. Looking to take his spot on the starting line. He was scheduled to start third from the outside, but elects to go to the outside here, so we'll see how that one turns out. Our starter, Riley, looking him over, waves a green flag, and here we go. Great start for the 964 and the 965. Colton Graber on the 964, Austin Graber on the 965. Both out of Clear Lake, Minnesota, an 89 and a 90 Polaris, respectively. Great racing for third and fourth spot now in turn 1 and 2. But the Grabers got this one figured out so far, running 1 and 2 here in race 4 on the day, your Sport Formula 500 class. 5 laps is the distance, 3 will qualify. Number 9 is Stefan Carignan out of Winnipeg. The 2B, Dylan Bradner in the 4th spot. He is from Medford, Wisconsin on a 1991 Polaris. Best race in the place for third and fourth right now. This is your Sport Formula 500 class. We'll do this once again for race number 5. Again, 3 will qualify. 5 laps will be the distance in our next race. So plenty of competitors here, as always, in the Sport Formula 500 class. Very competitive, lots of riders, and always entertaining to watch. White flag is out now for the 964 and the 965. Carignan holding on to that third spot. Stefan Kerrigan out of Winnipeg, Manitoba on a 1991 Skidoo. Running strong in the third spot with the 964 of Colton Graber and the 965 of Austin Graber out of Clear Lake, Minnesota. Really dominating this one here in race number 4. Checkered flag is out. The winner will be the 964 Colton Graber. The 965 will be second, followed by the 9 and the 2B for fourth. 2B is Dylan Bradner. Don't forget, only 3 qualify to the final. So the 9 of Stefan Kerrigan will be in. The 2B of Dylan Bradner so far will be out in the 4th spot. All right, race number 5 coming up. Sport Formula 500 class once again. Heat number 2, 3 will qualify as in race number 4 for 5 laps. The number 29 is Ashton Christensen out of Luck, Wisconsin, riding a 1989 Polaris. The 32V is John Vahovic. He is out of Keewatin, Ontario, and he rides a 1990 Yamaha. On a 1990 Polaris, the 113A is Aaron Davey. The 54 is Tom Keelback. He is from Beausejour on a 97 Skidoo. The 84 is Dalton Fredrickson from Thief River Falls, Minnesota, on a 1989 Arctic Cat. The 223 is Adam Braun from Winnipeg. Adam is on a 1996 Polaris, and the number 13 is Kieran Lowen out of Altona on a 1989 Polaris. So 7 scheduled for race number 5. In the Sport Formula 500 class, Heat 2, 3 will qualify. 5 laps is the distance. All right, getting set to go here. Change on your program. Dalton Fredrickson out of Thief River Falls will be riding the 334. Number 334. John Vahovic on the 32V out of Keewatin, Ontario. Spends his summer racing a Midwest modified stock car. Good racing into turn 3 and 4. Look at the top 3. Good race for 4th and 5th as well as they come down the front straightaway here in race number 5, Sport Formula 500 class. 334 has changed his number. Dalton Fredrickson is up front. He is out of Thief River Falls, Minnesota, 1989 Arctic Cat, looking strong. Number 113 in the second spot. Aaron Davey is on the 113 out of Middle River, Minnesota. That is between Greenbush and Thief River Falls, Minnesota. Red flag is out on the track. Crash in turn number 2. All right, attention to the pit area. Race number 6 will be your Junior 2 Stock 380 class. Race 7, IFS 440X class for 3 laps. And race 8 will be the ice bikes, and then we'll do an intermission. So if you're in those classes, we ask that you please head on over to the staging area immediately. Red flag on the track here for race number 5. Our track crew, as always, doing a great job removing the sled, getting it back to the pit area to the trailer for some repair work. And we will restart this race. This one is scheduled for 5 laps. Well, at the red flag, the 3-3-4 was your leader, Dalton Fredrickson out of Thief River Falls, Minnesota. The 113 is Aaron Davey. Ashton Christensen on the 29 out of Luck, Wisconsin. That's an 89 Polaris. Currently running third. The 223 is Adam Braun. As we get set to restart this race. Great start for the number 29 of Ashton Christensen. A little bit, so we got a rider off in turn 1 and 2. And that rider pops right back up. Looks like that sled high-sided just a little bit. The rider got off, but no collisions, so everything pretty clear and okay in turn 1 and 2. Although, another red flag here as our track crew gets to work to remove the sled. Well, your Sport Formula 500 class, one of the more competitive classes here in Beausejour, and these drivers run very, very hard and, well, sometimes get off their sleds in certain collisions or, of course, just racing for position. So our track crew going to head on over to turn number 1 and 2, remove the sled, and we will once again restart race number 5 in the Sport Formula 500 class. Cool Down Racing Video Productions, all part of this. We want to welcome you if you're watching on the internet. A total of 40 races for the day. And we are on race number 5, the Sport Formula 500 class. This is Heat 2. 3 will qualify to the final. This race scheduled for 5 laps. Once again, the 3-3-4 coming to the starting line. Dalton Fredrickson out of Thief River Falls, Minnesota. Will be joined by the 113 of Aaron Davey out of Middle River. 29, Ashton Christensen out of Luck, Wisconsin. 223. That is Adam Braun out of Winnipeg. 13, Kieran Lowen. 54 is Tom Keelback. Tom Keelback is out of Beausejour riding a 97 Skidoo on the outside. Another good start for the number 29. He is not sleeping at the starting line. Ashton Christensen on the 29 out of Luck, Wisconsin, looking strong as he races for the second spot. Your leader is the 3-3-4, Dalton Fredrickson. He has dominated this one from the outset. Great race for second and third, the 113. That is Aaron Davey trying to hold off the 29 of Ashton Christensen. Dalton Fredrickson, your leader, is flying out here. These races today, of course, brought to you by FXR, Wet Distribution and Sales, MacDon, and the Howland Hotel. White flag is out for your race leader. Tom Keelback on the 54, the 13, Kieran Lowen battling at the back of the pack, while your leader already in the middle of turn 3 and 4. Checkered flag is waving, and oh, look at that. Wow. That does not look healthy as your leader and winner crosses the finish line. The 3-3-4 Dalton Fredrickson out of Thief River Falls will come to a stop in a smoky heap in turn number 1. So obviously that crew's got some work to do. Somehow, though, they made it last just long enough.
Perfect. Will you say the perfect race card expires 100 yards after the finish line?
That is about perfect. Well, you never want them to blow up, but if they're gonna, you want to make sure you got the checkered flag in your hand, and that driver did exactly that. Dalton Fredrickson on the 334 out of Thief River Falls, Minnesota. That is an 89 Arctic Cat, and that rider is going to need some assistance in turn number 1. All right, 3 more races before our first intermission break, brought to you by FXR. And race 6 will be your Junior 2 Stock 380 class. That's coming up next. Race 7, IFS 440X class. Race 8 will be the ice bikes. Those are your next 3 races, so you'll need to be in the staging area, please. All right, looking for race number 6, brought to you by FXR, Junior 2 Stock 380 class for 13 to 17-year-olds. This one will be just 3 laps. We have a total of 4 competitors in this one. The number 30 is Jocelyn Rathke out of Wausau, Wisconsin. This is a 1999 Polaris. The 434 is Miranda Peterson. Miranda is from Lancaster, Minnesota. Number 30 is a no-show, we understand. The 85 is Brett Borchardt out of Tomahawk, Wisconsin. And the 199 is Lawrence Egg out of Greenbush, Minnesota. The Egg Farms 199 of Lawrence Egg, scheduled to start on the outside of the front row on the 1998 Premier chassis. All right, a 3-horse race here. The number 30 is Scratch. Good start for the number 85, Brett Borchardt out of Tomahawk, Wisconsin. 1991 Polaris. This is race number 6, Junior 2 Stock 380 class for 13 to 17-year-olds. 3 laps is the distance. 1 is almost done.
Yeah, someone had a window open.
This is a real good race. Just 3 competitors, but very, very close here. 434, Miranda Peterson from Lancaster, Minnesota. On the 85 is Brett Borchardt, and the 199 is Lawrence Egg out of Greenbush, Minnesota. Great race for 2nd and 3rd as they head into turn number 3 and 4. This is race number 6 on the day, brought to you by FXR. 1 to go for your race leader. That is the number 85 of Brett Borchardt. Miranda Peterson on the 434, Lawrence Egg on the 199 to complete the field. And look at that race for 2nd and 3rd spot. Lawrence Egg takes a stab at 2nd spot, but unable to pass there in turn number 2. Into turn 3 now, your leader remains the same. Checkered flag coming out this lap around. Look at the race for 2nd and 3rd. Your winner is going to be the number 85 of Brett Borchardt. The 434, Miranda Peterson, will hold on for the 2nd spot. Lawrence Egg from Greenbush, Minnesota, will finish 3rd in race number 6, your Junior 2 Stock 380 class. Coming up next, race number 7 on your schedule, the IFS 440X class. This will be round 1 for a total of 3 laps. Local boy starting on the number 21 out of Beausejour on a 79 Skidoo is Tyler Obi. The 370 is Mads Zalai out of Garson. And the 511 is Tyson Bizdell out of Enola, Manitoba. So Beausejour, Garson, and Enola represented here in this 3-sled race. Pretty much all locals. Next up, race 8 ice bikes. If you're on a 2-wheeler, you need to have that 2-wheeler in the staging area right now.
1-wheelers need not apply.
All right, Riley gives them the signal here in race number 7, IFS 440X class, round 1 for 3 laps. All right, elbow to elbow here as we get set to go racing. 3 laps is the distance. 21 and the 370 get off the starting line immediately. The 21 is Tyler Obie, and he's got the lead. Tyler Obie out of Beausejour, Manitoba, on the 1979 Skidoo, leading into turn number 3. One down, 2 to go is the 370 of Matsalai in the second spot. Tyson Bizdell out of Enola, Manitoba. That is a 78 moto ski in the third spot. Not in contention thus far. White flag, 1 to go for your leader. Tyler Obie out of Beausejour, Manitoba on the number 21. Real smooth as the 370 appears to be having problems on the back chute. 370 is Matsalai out of Garson. Checkered flag is out for your winner, the 21. But a tough break, a broken number 370 in turn number 3. 511 will take second, Tyson Bizdell. Our track crew very, very busy here today on the recovery side. All right, so our recovery crew working over in turn number 3. Your next race will be the final race before an intermission. That will be race number 8, brought to you by FXR Racing. And this should be the ice bikes coming to the track for 5 laps. And in that race, the number 108 is Bruce Dean out of Winnipeg. The 117 is Colton Korolavich. Colton is out of Beausejour, Manitoba, a very strong runner on the 117. Number 14, keep your eyes on this guy as well. This is Ryan Rondeau out of Winnipeg, riding a 2019 Kawasaki. 35 is Tim Fawcett. Wow, I haven't seen that name in motorcycles for years. In fact, in 1984, I raced against Tim Fawcett. That's how far that goes back. Back when motocross bikes had wooden wheels. The 35, Tim Fawcett out of East Selkirk, great to have him here. He was a very, very strong competitor in the ADC class back in the 80s. The number 19 is Cal Dietz out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And the 71, while you talk about decorated motocross racers, the 71, Kim Hood out of Winnipeg. 3-time Canadian champion. Won the over 50 nationals in California many years ago. Kim Hood is going to be on the number 71.
Was that during?
All right, so we have 6 competitors for race number 8 in the ice bike division.
This year, 'cause last year they had 3.
These bikes, well, they'll get about 85, 90 miles an hour on the straightaways. We do not have the radar gun here today, but I remember from last year, these things really fly. Keep your eyes on Kim Hood in his 60s on the number 71, right in the middle of the racetrack. Known for his great starts and great finishes. All right, he's got her fired up. Looks like Kim Hood having a bit of troubles on the starting line. Talking about his great starts, but first he had to get it started. Now the 117 trying to refire. That's Colton Korolavich. He's still trying to fire it. Colton Korolavich on the 117 out of Beausejour, Manitoba, a good strong runner. If they all get fired, this is going to be a great race. So we do have all 6 there according to our lineup sheets, but Colton Korolavich continues to have a little bit of trouble on the starting line. Well, it looks like Colton might just say, I got to get this back to the pit area and give her a shot over there, because I don't think that 117 is going to fire by the looks of things. Colton Korolavich on the 117 will push off to the apron of the inside of the front straightaway, and we will get going with race number 8 on your schedule, 5-lap ice bike race. Tough break for Colton Korolavich. He will not be happy. Always a very strong runner in the ice bike division, so he will have to take it back to the pit area and check things out. And green flag is out. We are racing in the ice bike division. Kim Hood way off the pace. That is unusual. Racing now in turn number 3 and 4 in the ice bike division. 5 laps is the distance. Colton Korolavich unable to start and still trying to start that motorcycle. The number 14 is the leader, followed by the 19. 14 is Ryan Rondeau. The 19 is Cal Dietz out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. A couple of Kawasaki's Team Green up front here in the ice bike division. Look at the race for second and third spot. Beautiful pass. While I was talking about how great Kim Hood is off the starting line as a rule, and this time he did not get the whole shot, started towards the back, or got into turn 1 towards the back and started moving, and he is now in second spot. 3-time Canadian champion Kim Hood on the 71. Number 19, Cal Dietz out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan in the third spot. Kim Hood second. The 14, Ryan Rondeau, is your leader. Kim Hood appears to be reeling in the leader just a little bit here in 3 and 4. White flag coming out, 1 to go. 4 down, 1 to go, brought to you by FXR. Can Kim Hood close the gap here on the final lap? Look at the speed he carries into 1 and 2. Remarkable athlete is Kim Hood out of Winnipeg. Here's the battle out of turn number 4 now. Your winner will be the 14, followed by Kim Hood on the 71. And the number 19 will come home third. That's Cal Dietz out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Ryan Rondeau out of Winnipeg with a real strong start on the Kawasaki, and he takes the win over Kim Hood on the number 71 in race 8 in the ice bike division. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is now time for a brief intermission brought to you by FXR, Wet Distribution and Sales, MacDon, and the Howland Hotel. Grab yourself an ice cold beverage or a hot coffee at the concession area. Check out the full line of CPTC promo wear at the beer garden, just in time for Christmas. And we'll be back after a grooming break here in Beausejour.
I was going to say rolling, but I guess they're not.
Well, we'd like to thank our sponsors, FXR, Moosehead, Twisted Tea, MacDon, and the Howland Hotel for supporting the event here in December in Beausejour. Also want to thank the RM of Brokenhead and the town of Beausejour for all of their generous support. We have 8 races in the book so far here in December. Race number 9 will be coming up soon. It will be your Junior 1 Stock 380 class. Race 10 will be your Formula 3 class. That is a brand new class for 2019 and 20. We'll tell you a little bit more about that one very soon. based on a snowcross chassis. And race 11 will be your junior II F500 class for 14 to 17-year-olds. That one will be 5 laps. So that is race 9, 10, and 11, brought to you by FXR, Moosehead, Twisted Tea, MacDon, and the Howland Hotel. Race 9, just a pair of competitors in this one. This is Junior 1 Stock 380. For 10 to 12-year-olds, 3 laps will be the distance. The number 59 is out of Drayton, North Dakota on a 1997 Skidoo. This is Hunter Johnson. And on the 23, from Balmoral, Manitoba, this is Dylan Fox. Dylan Fox on the number 23 out of Balmoral, Manitoba, 2000 Polaris. 2-sled race here, race 9, Junior 1 Stock 380 class. And here we go, we're racing. Hunter Johnson out of Drayton, North Dakota, the 97 Skidoo with a strong start. Good race for first and second place as they head through turn 3 and 4. This race scheduled for just 3 laps here. Here's the battle down the front straightaway. Brought to you by FXR, Moosehead, Twisted Tea, MacDon, and the Howland Hotel. White flag coming out this time around in the Junior 1 Stock 380 class. 1 to go. Dylan Fox out of Balmoral, Manitoba is the leader, followed by Hunter Johnson out of Drayton, North Dakota. Look at that pass on the back straightaway. Lots of speed into turn number 3 for your race leader. As they come out of turn number 4 down the front straightaway, checkered flag is in the hands of Riley. And that checkered flag is going to go to the number 59. That rider, Hunter Johnson out of Drayton, North Dakota, taking the checkers on the 1997 Skidoo out of Drayton, North Dakota. That was race number 9, your Junior 1 Stock 380 class. Next up, race 10, Formula 3, round number 1, an all-new class that is said to be the World Championship class next year in Eagle River. It is called Formula 3. They are stock 600 sleds. They are built on a snowcross platform. Many changes are available to these riders. The engines must remain pretty much stock. However, they take a stock sled, the snowcross style hood. They can change the front ends and the suspensions in the rear. This is the all-new Formula 3 class, and some of the huge names in snowmobile racing will take part in this one. Gunnar Stern is out of West Chicago, Illinois, a 3-time TLR Cup champion, a 2020 Skidoo sponsored by Red Bull. Gunnar Stern is on the 220. The 39 is out of Greenbush, Minnesota. This is a Wall Brothers Racing entry of Tom Olson. The 84 is Keith Wojo from Greenbush, Minnesota, also on a 2020 Wall Brothers Racing Polaris. And the 13 is Nick Van Stridonk.
You need to tell trackside parking to keep their lights off. Now, it's holy. Are you guys fogging up in here?
Yeah, I think somebody turned off the heat. All right, we ask if you are in turn number 3 and 4 at trackside parking, please make sure your headlights are off. Apparently the riders are getting blinded coming into turn number 3, so please turn your headlights off at trackside parking if you are on the 88.9 dial. If you see somebody with their headlights, tell them to turn on their radio and turn off their headlights. All right, here we go. The all-new Formula 3 class. Getting set to go for the first time ever here in Beausejour. Well, a couple of these riders yesterday had an opportunity to practice in Beaujeu. The concern with this all-new class was, are these sleds going to actually turn properly? So there's a lot of development going on. These riders worked throughout the summer with their pit crews to get this all-new class going under USSA rules. Gunnar Stern so far has got it figured out on the Red Bull Skidoo. That is a 2020 Skidoo. Very close racing here in this all-new class. As they come out of turn number 4. This one's scheduled for 5 laps. Nick Van Stridonk in his 25th and final year of racing out of Tomahawk, Wisconsin, aboard the number 13. So far, very competitive. '39 and the 13 having a great battle. Tom Olson aboard the 39. That is the Wall Brothers Racing entry out of Greenbush, Minnesota. 13, Nick Van Stridonk out of Tomahawk, Wisconsin. White flag coming out, 4 down, 1 to go in the all-new Formula 3 class. Great battles. Look at this. The top 3 very, very close on the racetrack. This type of competition bodes very well for this new class. Red Bull Skidoo's the winner, followed by the 39 of Tom Olson. That's a pretty good preview of that class. You're right, Anthony. Anthony here from Cool Down Racing Video Productions. All new Formula 3 class, round 1, 5 laps. Won by Gunnar Stern. All right, we'll talk to you a little more about the all-new Formula 3 class. I was in the pit area yesterday visiting with the riders, and, well, it's a great concept. The reason for that Formula 3 class that you just saw, they're trying to get the factory support back, and by running a little more of a stock-type sled, they're hoping to draw the factories back into big-time sponsorship rather than the Pro Champ 440 class, which are kind of 1-off or 2-off or 3-off sleds built custom completely. Those Formula 3s you just saw are pretty much built off a stock showroom sled. They are modified as well, but not quite as much, of course, as the Pro Champ 440 class. So the USSA, a sanctioning body in the United States, hoping to get factory support back by racing more stock sleds than they have previously. Junior II F500 class for 14 to 17-year-olds on the racetrack, brought to you by Moosehead, Twisted Tea, FXR, MacDon, and the Howland Hotel. The 158 is Hunter Van Reen out of Tomahawk, Wisconsin. The 113 is Hannah Westland. The 148 is Harley Ehlers out of Medford, Wisconsin. The 85 is Brett Borchardt. The 829 is Jesse Pescatelli. 685, Tanner Davey. The 53 is Emily Stevens. 29 is Ashton Christensen. And the 434 is Miranda Peterson out of Lancaster. 7 sled race here in race 11 on your schedule. Junior II F500 class. This one scheduled for a total of 5 laps. Ashton Christensen is out of Luck, Wisconsin. Having great luck here on the 89 Polaris, leading on the number 29 by about a half a straightaway. This is race 11 on your schedule. Junior II F500 class for 14 to 17-year-olds. Race 12 coming up next. SS340 Free Air, 340 Liquid, and 440 Fan Final for 5 laps. Followed by the Champ 440 class. Not much changing up front. The number 29, Ashton Christensen, looking awful strong. Ashton out of Luck, Wisconsin on the 89 Polaris with about a 3/4 straightaway lead now. This one's scheduled for 5 laps. White flag coming out this time around for the Luck, Wisconsin rider. Great start for the number 29 and has never looked back since. Hunter Van Reen on the 158. The 113 is Hannah Westland out of Strathcona, Minnesota, currently running in the 3rd spot. Checkered flag, the number 29 is going to win this one in race number 11. Ashton Christensen, followed by the 158, Hunter Van Reen. And that'll do it for race number 11 in the Junior II F500 class, brought to you by FXR, Moosehead, Twisted Tea, MacDon, and the Howland Hotel. Well, if you're on the internet and watching Cool Down Racing Video Productions broadcasting right here from Beausejour, we want to welcome you into the facility. Hope you're comfortable at home watching on the internet. For those of you that have come live, well, of course, we want to welcome you as well. Don't forget the beer garden is open throughout the day. The concession has delicious food if you're hungry. And of course, over at the beer garden, we do have all new CPTC promo wear. Grab that for Christmas for the snowmobile fan in your family. That is CPTC promo wear, available right now at the beer garden. Big field coming up for race number 12, SS340. 340 liquid and 440 fan class. Final is 5 laps here. Bryce Olson is out of Tisdale, Saskatchewan on a 77 Arctic Cat. Bryce Olson on the number 20. Scratch the 37 of Brendan Kaltoff. 65 also scratched. Cody Whitechuck out of Beausejour. 94B is Jesse Cipher. The 999, Joel Reed, is out of Tisdale, Saskatchewan. 14 is Alex Manchelenko. The 43 is Scott McHarg. 23 is Will Manchelenko. And the 38 is Lee Baxter out of Mayerthorpe, Alberta. Number 38 is a 1976 Mercury. Good looking sled on the outside of race number 12. All right, getting set to race here. Number 12, here we go. Good start for the number 43 and the 38. Scott McHarg on the 43. The number 38 is Lee Baxter out of Mayerthorpe, Alberta. Good battle down the back straightaway into turn number 3. This is your SS340 free air, 340 liquid, and 440 fan final. Combined classes here. 38, 43, and the 948, your top 3. Good racing in the top 5 here. Wow. Green flag remains out. 94B. Jesse Cipher is out of Medford, Wisconsin. That is a 1977 John Deere. Great race for 3rd, 4th, and 5th spot here in your SS340 free air, 340 liquid, 440 fan final. 38 with a good lead on the John Deere. The 43 third, the 14 and the 20 make up the top 5. 20 is Bryce Olson out of Tisdale, Saskatchewan. That is a 77 Arctic Cat. Look at the race out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway now. These riders are getting at it. And 1 to go for your leader, the number 38. Lee Baxter on the 38 out of Mayerthorpe, Alberta, a 1976 Merc.
14's got a
And checkered flag is out. The 38's going to win it. Lee Baxter, followed by the John Deere. That's the 94B of Jesse Cipher. The 43 is third. Scott McHarg. Scott is out of Prince Albert, Saskatchewan on the 1976 Yamaha. A nice run for the 43, finishing third. Scott McHarg. All right, attention in the pit area. Coming up next, race 13, your Champ 440, round 1 for 5 laps. Then race 14 will be the ATV class. First time ever here in Beausejour for the ATVs. We have the ice bikes and have had the ice bikes previous years, but all new for 2019 are the ATVs. Coming up in race number 4, brought to you by FXR, Moosehead, Twisted Tea, MacDon, and the Howland Hotel. Race 15 will be the Pro Formula 500 class, as will be race number 16. 40 races on the day. All right, this is the Champ 440 round 1 5-lap race, the 102, sponsored by Wall Brothers Racing out of Hutchinson, Minnesota. This is a 2020 Polaris. The rider is Blaine Stevenson. On the 220, sponsored by Red Bull, this rider is out of West Chicago, Illinois, a 3-time TLR Cup champion, Gunnar Stern, on the 2020 Red Bull Skidoo. The number 13 is Nick Van Strydock. He is out of Tomahawk, Wisconsin, 2-time CPTC champion and a 2-time champion in Eagle River. Nick Van Strydock, sponsored by Amsoil. 22 is Andrew Dara out of Whitney, Ontario, riding a 19 Skidoo, and the 8 is Travis McDonald out of Goner, Manitoba, on an 18 Skidoo. Hole shot, the 220 of Gunnar Stern. He is not waiting for anyone in the Champ 440 class. Round 1 for 5 laps. Gunnar Stern on the Red Bull Skidoo shows the way into turn number 3. Blaine Stevenson on the 102, sponsored by Wall Brothers Racing. Blaine is out of Hutchinson, Minnesota. Very competitive racer. This one's scheduled for 5 laps. Race 13 on your schedule. Champ 440s. Gunnar Stern is flying. FXR bringing you the races here today, along with Twisted Tea and Moosehead. Also like to thank MacDon and the Howland Hotel, and of course the town of Beausejour for all of their generous support. White flag, 1 to go for the Red Bull 220. Stevenson and McDonald, 2nd and 3rd. Travis McDonald in the 3rd spot. A local out of the Lockport area, Goner, Manitoba. Won a big race in Valcourt. Knows how to get around the racetrack on the XPS Skidoo. Checkered flag, the 220 will win Blaine Stevenson. Travis McDonald 3rd in the Champ 440 class. 22 coming across the line, Andrew Dara. Andrew Dara is out of Whitney, Ontario, aboard a 2019 Skidoo. So that'll do it for the Champ 440 class. Round 1 for 5 laps is now in the books. Coming up next, race 14, ATVs, round 1, 5 laps, and looks like we've got a lot of them. The 34 is out of Lorette, Manitoba. Actually, on our sheet it says Lorette West. How big is Lorette that they need a west and an east, I wonder? Lorette West, Manitoba, the 34 Mark Sexton. 13 is Cody Bedient out of Marchand, Manitoba. The 11, Paul Reed. The 23 is Adam Helfrich. The 215 is Stefan Wiebe. Riding the 22 is Austin Lewandowski out of Winnipeg. The 12 is Tyrone Wiebe. He's from Woodlands. The 20 is Peter Friesen. The 108 is Bruce Dean from Winnipeg. And the 22 is Dustin Fournier out of LaBroquerie, Manitoba, or LaBroquerie, I guess it is. So these are the ATVs for the first time ever here on the half-mile oval. This ought to be lots of fun, just like the ice bikes. Well, certainly the tire selection varies hugely there. Some of these guys look like they're going racing, some of them look like they're going hunting. We'll see what it looks like in turn number 1 for the first time ever in the ATV division. Round 1, 5 laps. On the inside should be the 34, Mark Sexton out of Lorette West, Manitoba. And here we go for the first time ever, the ATVs. Down the back straightaway into turn number 3 in the ATV division.
Yeah, it's not co-champ, but it's chassis, that's the modified.
215 is your leader, Stefan Wiebe out of Woodlands. Great racing in turn number 1 and 2 in the ATV division. Wow. They are getting at it. Out of turn number 4, down the front straightaway, leader remains the same. That is the 215. Can't make out the number on the second place sled. The number 13 found the spray paint can and added it to the tackle box on the front of the ATV. Cody Bedient out of Marchand, Manitoba, running third on the number 13. This one's scheduled for 5 laps in the ATV class. Green flag remains out on the front straightaway. And the leader remains the same, the number 215, Stefan Wiebe. Peter Friesen is on the number 20 out of Steinbach, Manitoba, currently in the third spot. A little bit sideways in turn number 1 and 2 go the ATVs. Your leaders already in turn 3 and 4 now. White flag coming out. 4 laps down, 1 to go for the 215 of Stefan Wiebe. 34, Mark Sexton in the second spot out of West Lorette or Lorette West, Manitoba. Coming up on some lap traffic down the back straightaway. The number 215, Stefan Wiebe out of Woodlands, Manitoba, riding a 2011 Can-Am, showing the way on Mark Sexton on the 34. Sexton currently second. And it's official. Stefan Wiebe, the 215, will win the first ever ATV race here in Beausejour on the big half-mile oval. Mark Sexton on the 34 will come home second. Peter Friesen third. Friesen is out of Steinbach, Manitoba, and riding the 2004 Yamaha. All right, ATVs in the books. Race 14 is done now. Here we go with race 15. Pro Formula 500 class. We'll have a pair of these heats. This is heat 1 for the Pro Formula 500 class, always very competitive. 3 will qualify to the final, and this race will be 5 laps. All right, and from race number 15, scratch the 84 of Dalton Fredrickson. He will not make the grade here. The 113 is going to be Kendra Westland out of Strathcona, Minnesota. Riding the number 95, this is Jerry LePage from Murillo, Ontario. The number 9 is Stefan Carrigan. The 96 is Bruce Rosentreader. Riding the 964 is Colton Graber out of Clear Lake, Minnesota. Number 35 is from Enola, Manitoba on an 89 Polaris. This is Dylan Barron, second from the outside. And the 87 is Madison Phillips from Drayton, North Dakota, riding a 1989 Polaris. Getting set to go, and here we go. Looks like Rosentreader with a great start. Bruce Rosentreader on the 96 out of Whitemouth, Manitoba. 2015 Acme chassis. This class, one of the more competitive ones here in Beausejour, and they're showing you that right now. Look at them go. Colton Graber out of Clear Lake, Minnesota, riding the number 964, is in the lead. The 113, Kendra Westland from Strathcona, Minnesota, is second. That's a great race up front into turn number 3. Kendra Westland is all over the leader. Look at this battle down the front chute. Third spot is the number 87, Madison Phillips. Rosentreader fourth. Bruce Rosentreader had a great start here in the Pro Formula 500 class, but has since dropped back. Look at the 113 on the inside now. Into turn number 3 and 4, Kendra Westland out of Strathcona, Minnesota, showing some speed into 3 and 4. Kendra Westland with the lead, the 964 second, Colton Graber. Madison Phillips, Rosentreader in 5th now. Rosentreader loses one more spot here on the number 96 out of Whitemouth. White flag, 1 to go for your leader. Still a great race up front. Number 95 is 4th. That is Jerry LePage out of Murillo, Ontario. But look at the race for the lead in turn 3 and 4 on the final lap. Oh boy, look on the inside. Great pass. This one's not over. Kendra Westland wins it. What a great race. The best race of the day. Second spot will be the 964. Third will be Madison Phillips unofficially, but what a great race that was. Heat 1 of the Pro Formula 500's in the books now. What a great job by Kendra Westland and the 964 of Colton Graber out of Clear Lake, Minnesota. That was a battle from the start and ended with the 113 of Kendra Westland taking the win. Another race before intermission brought to you by FXR. Moosehead, Twisted Tea, and MacDonald along with the Howland Hotel. Another Pro Formula 500 race. This will be Heat 2. 3 will qualify into the final. The distance is 5 laps. And riding out of Whitemouth, Manitoba, the number 91 is Sam Glure. On the 116 is John Zielinski. He is from Winnipeg, riding a 92 Polaris. The 113A is Aaron Davey from Middle River, Minnesota. And from Oakville, Manitoba, near Portage la Prairie, the 446 is Mike Shackelford. 26 is Quinn Whitechuck. He's from Beausejour, local boy. The 965 is Austin Graber from Clear Lake, Minnesota. The 24, Jordan Sobetsky on the Sobetsky Enterprises 24 out of Beausejour. And change on your race number 16 lineup. The number 48 will be Brian Healy. Brian Healy will be on the number 48. Austin Graber on the 965 takes a loop, as does the 24. of Jordan Sobetsky. The Sobetsky Enterprises sponsored 24 will start second from the outside. Race 16, we have a total of 40 on the day. And we're getting set to go racing here. Looking them over, here we go. Sam Glura on the 91 gets a great start out of Whitemouth, Manitoba. The 89 Polaris looking awful strong. Already a competitive race in the Pro Formula 500 race, as was the last one. This is Heat 2 in the Pro Formula 500 class. Ooh, some trouble in turn 3 and 4, but no collision. 91 riding away. John Zielinski is on the 116 in the second spot. That is a 92 Polaris. According, heads up. Collision in turn 1 and 2. Has a rider high sides. And we will get our safety crew over to turn 1 and 2. And how about it? The riders are on their feet. Big collision in turn 1 and 2, but fortunately it looks like the riders are all walking away from that one, so that is great. Safety crew getting to work once again. This is race 16 if you're watching on the internet. Race 16 Pro Formula 500 class with a crash in turn 1 and 2. I believe the 116 of John Zielinski is involved as he high-sided in 1 and 2. Not sure who the other rider is, but they are getting that cleaned up very, very quickly. And we'll get back to racing. This one's scheduled for 5 laps. This is Heat 2 of the Pro Formula 500 class. Race number 16 of 40 on the day. Heat 2, 3 will qualify to the final. Brought to you by FXR, Moosehead, Twisted Tea, MacDon, and the Howland Hotel. Just looking at the Cool Down Racing Video Productions replay up here in the tower, and that one could have been much, much worse, but all the riders are up and at 'em. The sleds will get hauled back to the pit area and repaired if necessary, and we will continue with race 16, the Pro Formula 500 class, here momentarily. Don't forget the beer garden remains open throughout the day. Concession is open, and over at the beer garden, well, you can grab yourself a nice cold one or grab yourself some CPTC promo wear just in time for Christmas. Not sure if one of those riders involved in turn 1 and 2 will be able to continue. But a bit of a collision in turn 1 and 2. Riders are okay, so that is great. Following this race, we'll go to a quick intermission break for grooming. And if you're in the pit area, here's what's coming up after intermission. We'll go to race 17. That is the Pro Light division. Race 18, Sportsman 600. And race 19 will be the Ice Bikes. Race 20, Supermod 300 Final. Race 21, the Formula 3 Round 2 race. All new class for 2019 and 20. Race 22 scheduled for the Sport Formula 500 class, and race 23 will be the IFS 340X Pro Stock 440 Final. All right, here they come. We will restart this race after an early crash. 91 Sam Glura out of Whitemouth, Manitoba on the 89 Polaris comes to the starting line. He got the whole shot originally in this race and has never looked back. The 113 Aaron Davey is out of Middle River, Minnesota on the 1990 Polaris coming to the line. Jordan Sobetsky is on the number 24 from Beausejour. 48, Brian Healy. Mike Shackelford is on the 446 from Oakville, Manitoba. 26 is Quinn Whitechuck from Beausejour. And the 965, Austin Graber getting set to restart. Austin is out of Clear Lake, Minnesota. And here we go. Brian Healy from the 4th spot to 2nd on the number 48. A real good start there for the rider number 48 out of Lorette, Manitoba. Brian Healy on the 1990 Polaris is charging here on the restart. Your leaders, Sam Glure out of Whitemouth, Manitoba. This race scheduled for 5 laps. This is Heat 2 in the Pro Formula 500 class. 3 qualify to the final later on. Whoop, a little bit of a collision in turn number 3 and 4 at the back of the pack as a rider pulls off. Looks like the number 48 of Brian Healy stopped at the top of turn number 4. Tough break for Brian Healy after a great restart. White flag is coming out in this one now for race 16. Sam Glure followed by Sobetsky. Followed by the 113 of Aaron Davey. Aaron Davey on the 113 out of Middle River, Minnesota. .126 kilometers per hour on the previous lap. Checkered flag is coming out. Sam Glure takes checkers, followed by the Sobetsky Enterprises 24 of Jordan Sobetsky. Nice ride for Sam Glure. Got the early hole shot, maintained it, and won that race. That was race 16 on your schedule, Pro Formula 500 class. We will now take a Quebex intermission break. Groom the track, get on over to the beer garden. All right, we are back here live in Beausejour for race number 17, the Pro Light Division. And the number 115 is out of Cedarburg, Wisconsin. This is Dylan Aganopoulos. Wow. The number 95 is Jerry LePage out of Merlot, Ontario. The 17, Jared Sackvey. Riding the number 10 is Stephen Mankey out of Lodi, Wisconsin. The H20, Christopher Huther out of Medford, Wisconsin. Riding the 88 is Brennan Boxall. The 1 is Griffin Lepak. And scratch the 87 of Madison Phillips out of Drayton, North Dakota. Getting ready to go racing here. Good racing into turn 1 and 2 so far as the snow flies here in Beausejour. This is race number 17 on your schedule. The Pro Light Division, round 1 for 5 laps. They are moving out of turn number 4. Brennan Boxall is out of Warman, Saskatchewan. That is the 2014 Wall Brothers Racing chassis up front. Brennan Boxall with a good start. And about a quarter of a straightaway lead so far here early. Green flag being displayed on the front chute. Second spot is the number 115, Dylan Anagostopoulos out of Cedarburg, Wisconsin. Hope I have the pronunciation correct there. That is one long last name. Good rider in the second spot. Now third spot, as Dylan gets passed on the number 115 in turn 3 and 4. Now into the second spot is the number 17. That's Jared Sackvey out of Beausejour. Sackvey in the second spot on the 2012 Skidoo. Brennan Boxall out of Warman, Saskatchewan, riding that Wall Brothers Racing chassis, has this one figured out. White flag, 1 to go. 4 down, 1 to go for your race leader. 141 kilometers per hour on the previous circuit. And checkered flag is in the air. That'll do it for the number 88. Brennan Boxall wins it. Sackvey second. Anagastopoulos third. The one is fourth. That is Griffin Lepak out of Hartford, Wisconsin. All right, coming up next, race number 18 on your schedule. This will be the Sportsman 600 class, round one for 5 laps. 223 is Adam Braun. The 116 is John Zielinski. Earlier crashed in another class. The 13 is Jonathan Hall. He's from Beausejour. Well, the next 3 riders, in fact, out of Beausejour, Jonathan Hall on the 13, the 16 of DJ Saluk, and the 26 of Quinn Whitechuck, all out of Beausejour in this race. From St. Malo is the 23, Will Manchelenko. The number 3 is Shane Wagner from Prada, Manitoba. Number 39 from West Pine Ridge, Manitoba is Brett Keelback. And the 72 is Ryan Fleischaker out of Humboldt, Minnesota. '97 Polaris, the number 72, Ryan Fleischaker. This will be race 18 on your schedule, the Sportsman 600 race, round one for 5 laps. John Zielinski, after crashing earlier in the day, will be a scratch here. Scratch the 116 of John Zielinski. He will not compete in this race. All right, getting ready to rock and roll here. Race number 18, Sportsman 600s. What a great field. This is going to be interesting. Side by side into turn number 1 and 2. And everybody gets out okay. Look at the battle into turn 3 and 4. Wow, these guys are flying. DJ Saluk on the number 16 out of Beausejour. Moving along the racetrack. Oh, heads up in turn number 1 and 2, lifting that left front ski way up and losing all kinds of track position, but gathers it up and heads down the back straightaway. Wow, that was almost a huge crash. Brett Keelback aboard the number 39, a great race for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Lots of those riders lifting the left front ski in turn number 1 and 2. 143 kilometers per hour on the previous lap. '16 and the 39 lead the way here. 3rd spot is the number 26. That is Quinn Whitechuck. Whitechuck out of Beausejour on a 1989 Polaris. Great racing in the middle of the pack. The leaders way, way out front here. Riley with the white flag. That means 1 to go for your race leader, the number 16, DJ Saluk. 2nd spot is the 39, nothing changing there. That is Brett Keelback from West Pine Ridge. Whitechuck, then the number 72, Ryan Fleischaker. Ryan Fleischaker is out of Humboldt, Minnesota. He's riding a 1997 Polaris entry. Your winner is the number 16, DJ Saluk, followed by Keelback on the number 39. Keelback for the 2nd spot. 3rd is Whitechuck. Fleischaker on the 72 will finish 4th. Shane Wagner unofficially 5th. He's from Prada, Manitoba on the number 3. Shane Wagner on the number 3 finishes 5th. That race, of course, brought to you by FXR, Moosehead, Twisted Tea, MacDon, and the Howland Hotel. All right, back to the two-wheelers. It's time for the ice bikes. Ryan Rondeau riding the number 14, the 117. If he can get it fired, and I think it is, that is Colton Korolavich out of Beausejour. Earlier could not fire that motorcycle on the starting line and did not compete. The 108 is Bruce Dean out of Winnipeg. This is a 2014 Husqvarna. The 19 is Cal Dietz out of Saskatoon, and the 35, Tim Fawcett, is out of East Selkirk, Manitoba. That'll be your lineup. 5 riders according to our schedule for race number 19, but I think I see 6. I do. Kim Hood on the 71. Not on our schedule. However, he's on the racetrack and running second. Better start for Kim Hood this time as they charge down the back straightaway here in the ice bike division. This one is scheduled for 5 laps. Look at the race for 3rd and 4th in turn number 3 and 4. These riders really getting down the racetrack. Green flag being displayed. Colton Korolavich followed by Kim Hood and the 14 of Ryan Rondeau. That is your top 3 in the ice bike division so far. Rondeau sweeping around the outside, gaining ground on the 71. And we've got a guy visiting the hay bales in turn number 4. So that'll bring out a red flag in the ice bikes. All right, Cool Down Racing Video Productions with us, bringing the broadcast to the internet. If you're watching in on the internet on your computer, we want to welcome you to Beausejour, a great day for racing. The snow starting to fly here. It's a very mild day. I'm going to guess about -5 or 6, but the snow is flying. It's -2. Okay. It is actually -2 here, just below freezing, so beautiful day for snowmobile racing. Snow is coming down just a little bit heavier, however. 29 degrees Fahrenheit. Or -2 Celsius. All right, so, of course, the accident over in turn number 4. Our track crew will head on over and fix up the bales, and we'll get going once again with our ice bike division. This is race 19 on your schedule. 5 laps for the ice bikes. Ryan Rondeau on the 14. The 117 is Colton Korolavich. The 108 is Bruce Dean. Bruce is out of Winnipeg. The 19 is Cal Dietz, and the 35 is Tim Fawcett. Tim Fawcett in the bales, we understand, on the number 35. All right, so the mess just about cleaned up in turn number 4. So if you're in the pit area, race number 20 will be the Supermod 300 Final. Looks like we have 6 competitors in that one. Race 21 will be the Formula 3 race. That'll be round 2. The second time we will see the Formula 3 class. That is all new for 19 and 2020. That is said to be the class that will run for the World Championships next year in Eagle River. So keep your eyes out for race 21, the Formula 3 race, based on a showroom stock snowcross sled, heavily modified, of course, but not as modified as the Pro Champ 440 class. So the idea behind the Formula 3 class, of course, is to try to get the factories back involved on what appears to be, well, a little more stock appearing sled. Race 22 will be your Sport Formula 500 B main with 4 only qualifying. And race 23 before intermission, the IFS 340X and Pro Stock 440 Final. And we'll go to a Cubex intermission break for grouping. All right, looking good now as we get set to go for the ice bikes once again. Want to thank our great sponsors. They include FXR Racing, Moosehead, Twisted Tea, MacDon, and the Howland Hotel. Riley, our starter on the front straightaway. Enjoying the mild snowstorm as the ice bikes get set to go. Well, no question about it. Our recovery team has been busy here today in Beausejour, tirelessly working throughout the corners at the crash scene, and here we go. Colton Korolavich with a great start on the 117 out of Beausejour. He leads it into turn number 1 and 2. We got another crash in turn number 3 and 4. That rider goes down, I think, pretty easy. Looks like he's going to pick up that motorcycle and roll it off. Oh, heads up, another rider goes down in turn 4. Colton Korolavich doesn't care. He rides away, still leads this one. I believe that's Kim Hood, the rider to go down first on the 71, and a Kawasaki at the top of turn 4. He must have seen Kim Hood come across the track and lost a brief moment of concentration. I was going to say conversation, but they're not talking out there. They're going 130 kilometers an hour. They are moving along, no question about that. That is the 14 of Ryan Rondeau on the Kawasaki. He is stopped at the outside of the front straightaway. Kim Hood not refiring. White flag coming out this time around. Look at this race for the number 1 spot. Oh, Korolavich with some problems. The 19 into the number 1 spot. Cal Dietz out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Rolling right along. Kim Hood mobile again, but he'll head back to the pit area. Riders all over the racetrack. Checkered flag is out. And your winner is going to be the number 19. Colton Korolavich with problems out of Beausejour. The number 117 stopped on the front chute. I think pretty much everybody had a problem or went down in that race except the number 19 of Cal Dietz out of Saskatoon. He'll take the win. All right, so that will do it for race number 19 on your schedule. That was the Ice Bikes, brought to you by FXR, Moosehead, Twisted Tea, MacDon, and the Howland Hotel. Next up, race 20, Supermod 300 final for 5 laps, and riding the number 65 out of Nola, Manitoba. The 65 is Norm Chura. The number 44 is Vic Mazer. He's from West St. Paul, riding a 73 Polaris. Number 95 is from Murillo, Ontario. This is Jerry LePage. The 13 is Jonathan Hall from Beausejour. Jonathan is on a 1973 Arctic Cat. The 65X is Cody Whitechuck from Beausejour. And the 13 is Kieran Lowen from Altona, Manitoba. Kieran is on a 1975 Yamaha. So race 20, halfway through the day here almost in Beausejour. Don't forget, we're back tomorrow. We're told a 10:30 start tomorrow. Usually is 11 o'clock. We're going to try to get going at 10:30 tomorrow right here in Beausejour. So Beausejour means beautiful hill in French, huh? I just learned something. First time I've learned something, absolutely. How much can I know? I'm sitting with you. Oh, brother. All right, Supermod 300 final. 5 laps coming up. We've been through the lineup, and now we're going to go racing here. And the number 95 with an itchy trigger finger. Jerry LePage out of Merlo, Ontario, has earned a spot at the back of this restart. '65X. Cody Whitechuck out of Beausejour is charging into turn 1 and 2. We are racing in the Supermod 300 final, race number 20 on your schedule. Green flag is out. Cody Whitechuck, followed by the 44. That 44 is Vic Mazer out of West St. Paul. Number 65 is Norm Chura. He's from Enola, riding a 1973 Polaris. Supermod 300 final for 5 laps. Rider stopped at the outside of turn number 3 as 65X ticks off another lap. So it's the 65X, the 44, and the 65 in the top 3. Unofficially 4th is the number 95. That is Jerry LePage. Next up, attention in the pit area, race 21 will be your Formula 3 race, all new class for this year. White flag being displayed as they come down the front straightaway in race number 20. The Supermod 300 final has 1 lap to go. Whitechuck leads, followed by Mazer and the 65 of Norm Chura. Less than a lap to go here. Checkered flag being displayed. It's going to be a close one. It looks like the 65X of Cody Whitechuck's going to hold on. Vic Mazer almost makes the pass on the 73 Polaris. Number 44, Vic Mazer, finishes 2nd. Norm Chura unofficially 3rd in the Supermod 300 final. Next up, Formula 3, round 2 for 5 laps. All right, Formula 3 is coming up for round number 2. Number 39 is going to be the Wall Brothers Racing entry out of Greenbush, Minnesota. This is Tom Olson. Keith Wojo, the number 84, is a scratch. Keith Wojo is a scratch. 13 is Nick Van Stridonk out of Tomahawk, Wisconsin on the 2020 Polaris. And riding a 2020 Red Bull Skidoo is Gunnar Stern out of West Chicago, Illinois. 3-time TLR Cup champion. Well, for those of you that are just joining us, the Formula 3 class is coming up next, an all-new class created by the USSA. Based more on a showroom stock sled, of course, they are quite modified in the suspension and, of course, in the front ends, but they do retain that snowcross-looking hood. The idea is to try to get the factories back into the sport and supporting it. So Formula 3 is said to be the World Championship class next January, not this coming one, but next January. That would be 2021 in Eagle River. So they're talking about running the Formula 3s as the World Championship class in Eagle River very soon. All right, here they come out of the pit area now in the Formula 3 class. Of course, the guys that ran previously the Pro Champ 440 class, which is still around, they have a Champ class now, which is a detuned version. Of course, the Pro Champ was the premier class. They're now calling the Champ class the premier class, but it's a detuned Pro Champ sled with a basically stock engine. They do have tuned pipes and run race fuel. And this class you're about to see, for the second time ever, and the first time in Beausejour, the Formula 3 class. Newly created, Tom Olson on the 39, the 13, Nick Van Stridonk, and the 220, Gunnar Stern. Keith Wojo did not make it on the number 84. All right, 3-sled race here. The Red Bull number 220 on the outside, 3-time TLR Cup champion. Canadian champion as well, Gunnar Stern out of West Chicago, Illinois. Gunnar Stern on the outside, 39 on the inside. Tension in the pit area. Next up will be race 22, Sport Formula 500 B main. Great race up front here. While they said this class would be competitive, they first hit the racetrack yesterday for a little bit of practice, and they were concerned about how these sleds would turn. They do retain pretty much the stock chassis. Front ends are modified, as is the track and a little bit of the tunnel area, but they do retain the stock hoods. Look at how close this race is. 152 kilometers per hour. Now 156. Very competitive racing here in this Formula 3 class. We saw that in heat number 1 as well. Look at this battle. The number 39 on the move, Tom Olson out of Greenbush. The Wall Brothers Racing 2020 Polaris showing the way in the all-new Formula 3 class. This is the second race of the day for these guys. They are doing a nice job. That is close racing. White flag coming out, 1 to go in the Formula 3 round 2 heat race. Nick Van Stridonk, 2-time Canadian champion, 2-time Eagle River champion in the 3rd spot. He's putting the heat on the 220 of Gunnar Stern. Gunnar Stern on the 220. Red Bull Skidoo in the 2nd spot. Checkered flag, your winner is the 39. Great race for 2nd and 3rd. Gunnar Stern and Nick Van Stridonk respectively cross the line. That is going to be some tight competition in the Formula 3 class, rumored to be the 2021 World Championship class in Eagle River. We'll see how that goes as this class develops. Race 22 coming up next, Sport Formula 500 B main, and we'll bring you that lineup momentarily. All right, here's your lineup of the Sport Formula 500B main. We do have it now. It is official. Dylan Barron on the 35 rather, is a scratch. The 32V, we're told, is a scratch as well. That's John Vahovic out of Keewatin in Ontario. So in this race should be the 2B of Dylan Bradner, the 223 of Adam Braun. Harley Ehlers will be on the 148, Kieran Lowen on the 13. Riding number 67 will be Amber Stevens, Tom Keelback on the 54. Tom is out of Beausejour, and the 829 is Jesse Pescatelli out of Lebo. So again, scratch Dylan Barron on the 35 and the 32V of John Vahovic. All right, Riley looking him over on the starting line. Sport Formula 500B main. 4 will qualify to the final. This one will be 5 laps. Jesse Pescatelli out of Lebo on the extreme outside on the 829. He's got a long way to go around turn number 1 and 2. Let's see if he can get a good start. This race, of course, brought to you by FXR, Moosehead, Twisted Tea, MacDon, and the Howland Hotel. Looks like the 2B with a great start. Dylan Bradner is out of Medford, Wisconsin, riding a 1991 Polaris. They will head down the back straightaway after a incident-free turn 1 and 2. And here they come, 1 down, 4 to go. The 2B is the leader. Tom Keelback is out of Beausejour, Manitoba on the number 54. He is currently occupying the 2nd position. 143 kilometers per hour. Look at this battle for 2nd spot. Adam Braun on the 223. Sliding into the 2nd spot. Adam Braun is out of Winnipeg. That is the 1996 Polaris underneath him. Doing a nice job, Adam Braun on the 223. Dylan Bradner showing the way. Only the top 4 qualify to the main event in the Sport Formula 500B main here. White flag is out, 1 to go. There's the race in turn number 3 and 4 as they come out of that turn in the Sport Formula 500B main. Top 4 qualify. It'll be the 2B, the 223 of Adam Braun, the 54. That is Tom Keelback will qualify. And the 4th and final transfer spot will go, I believe, to the 13 of Kieran Lowen. All right, so we have our 4 transfers now to the Sport Formula 500 main event. Next up, race 23 before a Quebec's intermission break. This will be your IFS 340X and Pro Stock 440 Final coming up for 4 laps. All right, here's the lineup. The 65 is Norm Chura from Manola, Manitoba. He's riding a 73 Polaris. The 16, Daryl Kaltoff out of Saskatoon. 370 is Matt Zalai. And the 511 is Tyson Bizdell out of Enola, Manitoba. 78 Motoski. Getting set to go. Good start for the 65 of Norm Chura. Norm actually plays the drums in a rock band, and he leads this one. Norm Chura, the number 65 from Enola, Manitoba. In turn 3 and 4, this is race 23 on your schedule. If you're just joining us, IFS 340X and Pro Stock 440 Final. Matt Zalai is on the 370 out of Garson, and he is all over Norm Chura out of Enola, Manitoba. Great race for first and second place here. .143 kilometers per hour on the previous circuit. Look at this battle for the lead. Wow. This is a 4-lap 340 and 440 final. White flag coming out, so 3 down, 1 to go as your leaders come down the front straightaway. The 370's got the heat turned up. Matt Zalai doing all he can to pass the 65 of Chura. Checkered flag is out. Your winner is the 65. Nice job by Norm Chura winning the 340X Pro Stock 440 Final. Matt Zalai puts up a good fight on the 370 out of Garson. That is a 78 Motoski coming home in the second spot. Third, of course, Tyson Bizdell. Fourth, Daryl Kaltoff out of Saskatoon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're now going to go to a Quebec's intermission break for a little bit of grooming. Visit the beer garden. Check out the all-new CPTC promo wear line just in time for Christmas. Grab a nice cold one, warm up just a little bit, and we'll be back after this Quebec's grooming break. Again, thanks to our sponsors, FXR, Moosehead, Twisted Tea, MacDon, and the Howland Hotel. All right, coming up with race number 24. The 434 is Miranda Peterson in the Women's Formula 500 race. 5 laps is the distance. Number 53 is Emily Stevens from Tyndall, Manitoba. Riding the 113 is Kendra Westland from Strathcona, Minnesota. Also out of Strathcona, the 113H is Hannah Westland. The 148 is Harley Ehlers out of Medford, Wisconsin. The 67 is Amber Stevens, and the 87 is Madison Phillips on the outside. Madison Phillips out of Drayton, North Dakota on the 89 Polaris. We're getting set to go right now in the Women's Formula 500 race. 5 laps is the distance. Look at this race out of turn number 3 and 4. They are flying. These girls are getting around the racetrack. This is your race 24 on your schedule. Women's Formula 500 for 5 laps. Brought to you by FXR, Moosehead, Twisted Tea, MacDon, and the Howland Hotel. Race 24. 113 is the leader. That is Kendra Westland, followed by the 87 of Madison Phillips. Madison Phillips out of Drayton, North Dakota, riding an 89 Polaris in the second spot. 127 kilometers per hour on the previous lap. .53 off the pace. Kendra Westland, the 87, Madison Phillips. The other 113H is Hannah Westland in the third spot out of Strathcona, Minnesota. Hana is on the 113H, and that is a 1990 Polaris. White flag is out. One to go for the 113. The 87 of the second spot, closing the gap ever so slightly. Hana Westland still third. Harley Ehlers is on the 148. Harley is from Medford, Wisconsin, riding a 1991 Polaris. Look at the battle over in turn 3 and 4 now. It's going to be Westland taking the win. Wow, the 87, Madison Phillips finishes second, and well, with one more lap, might have made the pass on the 113, but it is Kendra Westland officially your winner. The 87, Madison Phillips second. The 113H, Hana Westland, is out of Strathcona and unofficially finishes in the third spot in the women's Formula 500 class. Race 25 up next, your Champ 440s. All right, coming up next, race 25, the Champ 440 class, round 2 for 5 laps on the 102, sponsored by Wall Brothers Racing out of Hutchinson, Minnesota. This is the 2020 Polaris of Blaine Stevenson. On the 220 from West Chicago, Illinois, this is the Red Bull Skidoo of Gunnar Stern. Riding the number 8 is Travis McDonald. He's out of Goner, Manitoba on a 2018 Skidoo. The number 13, two-time Canadian champion, two-time Eagle River World champion, Nick Van Stridonk on the number 13. And the 22 scheduled to start is Andrew Dara out of Whitney, Ontario. Andrew is on a 2019 Skidoo. This is your Champ 440 class. Good start for the 220. The Red Bull Skidoo, number 1 into the first corner. Racing down the front chute. Gunnar Stern on the 220 from West Chicago, Illinois. 3-time TLR Cup champion on the move down the back chute. And he is moving right along. Wow. Second spot is the 102 of Blaine Stevenson out of Hutchinson, Minnesota, the Wall Brothers Racing Polaris in the second spot. 165 kilometers per hour on the previous lap. Green being displayed for the Red Bull Skidoo. Blaine Stevenson trying to claw back. The 22 is Andrew Dara out of Whitney, Ontario. 13, Nick Van Stridonk off the pace, the rider out of Tomahawk, Wisconsin, in his 25th year of racing. He's 29 years old, started racing kitty cats at age 4. White flag is out. Speaking of kitty cats and mini sleds and the like, of course, they will race tonight under the lights starting at 4 o'clock. Just off the end of the back straightaway, you can see the mini sled track, and they're going to race under the lights after 4 o'clock here today. Checkered flag is in the hands of Riley, and it's going to the 220 of Gunnar Stern. Stevenson comes home in the second spot, and third will go to the number 22 of Andrew Dara out of Whitney, Ontario. Great job by Gunnar Stern. Out of West Chicago, Illinois, he rides the Red Bull Skidoo and rides it to victory right there in race 25, the Champ 440 class. All right, so getting on with race number 26, we do have the lineup. It is the Pro Formula 500 B main. Only 4 riders will qualify to the main event. This race will be 5 laps. The 95 is Jerry LePage. He's from Murillo, Ontario on an 89 Polaris. Riding the 26 out of Beausejour is Quinn Whitechuck. The number 9 is Stefan Kergnen out of Winnipeg. And riding the 446, this is Mike Shackelford. From Whitemouth, Manitoba, the 96 is Bruce Rosentreader. The 965 is Austin Graber out of Clear Lake, Minnesota. 35 is Dylan Barron. The 48 is Brian Healy. The 116 is John Zielinski. And the 334 will be Dalton Fredrickson out of Thief River Falls, Minnesota. All right, we understand the 35, Dylan Barron, and the 116 of Zielinski are missing from this field. They were scheduled to start. I recall Dylan being out of a previous race as well. Dylan Barron out of Enola, Manitoba, riding an 89 Polaris, or not. Jerry LePage on the inside, veteran racer out of Murillo, Ontario. Up beside Quinn Whitechuck, the number 9 joins the party. That's Stefan Kergnen, the 446 of Shackelford. There's the 96 of Bruce Rosentreader. The 965, Austin Graber out of Clear Lake, Minnesota. 48, Brian Healy. 334, Dalton Fredrickson. Good field here. Only 4 will qualify. The distance is 5 laps. There we go. It's tight in turn number 1 and 2. Look at that, the 334 from the outside. Dalton Fredrickson flies into turn number 1 and gets the whole shot. Dalton Fredrickson from Thief River Falls, Minnesota, riding a 1989 Arctic Cat, is your current leader. Brian Healy on the 48 in the second spot, giving chase to the leader. 4 qualify to the main event in this Pro Formula 500 B main. Five laps is the distance here. Race number 26, Pro Formula 500 B main. Dalton Fredrickson being pursued by 4 riders into turn number 3. These races today, of course, brought to you by FXR, Moosehead, Twisted Tea, MacDon, and the Howland Hotel. Rosentreader third, the 446. Mike Shackelford in the 4th and final transfer spot. 446 of Shackelford battling for the 3rd spot now. He is currently 4th. Noticing some lights in turn number 3. Could you please turn off your headlights in turn number 3? Trackside parking. Uh-oh, heads up. Crash on the front chute. Rider is up and okay. How about that? I don't know what happened there. I was looking over in trackside parking for the headlights, and all of a sudden the rider's flying down the front straightaway. Not sure what happened there. We'll try to get a report trackside. Well, word from the trackside is the rider lost control and crashed. That is Mike Shackelford of the 446. Okay. Oakville, Manitoba's Mike Shackelford involved in the crash. He is okay, however. That sled, maybe not so much. However, he'll head back to the pit area and have a look. But top 4 qualify in the Pro Formula 500, and Mike Shackelford, unfortunately, will not qualify after a pretty strong ride. All right, so Shackelford heading back to the pit area. The rest of the riders over in turn 3 and 4 getting ready for the restart. This race originally scheduled for 5 laps and brought to you by FXR, MacDon, the Howland Hotel, Moosehead, and Twisted Tea. And you can get those products over at the Beer Garden. While you're there, grab yourself some Christmas gifts. CPTC promo wear is available right now. Check it out. It's all new for 2019. Okay, we understand 4 laps down, 1 to go here on the restart. The 334, Dalton Fredrickson, originally started outside on the front row, took the whole shot into turn 1 and has led since then. 48 coming up on the red sled out of Lorette, Manitoba. That's Brian Healy. The Acme chassis, number 96 of Bruce Rosentreader, 3rd. 95, Jerry LePage, 4th. The 965, 5th. Austin Graber is going to need to pass that number 95 in order to get that transfer spot. Only the top 4 qualify. Good start by the 965. Austin Graber with a great start, doing what he needs to do to get that transfer spot. Only 4 will go. Checkered flag is out. The 334, the 48, the 96, and the 965 will qualify for the Pro Formula 500 main event. That was the B main. Top 4 qualify. Next up on your schedule, race 27, Superstock 250, 300, and 340 fan final for 4 laps. Riding the 866 is Doug Bettel out of Anola, Manitoba. This is a 79 Yamaha. On a 76 Polaris, the 57J is Joe Bruce. Joe is from St. Anne, Manitoba. The number 13 is John Hall out of Beausejour. The 15 is Sheldon Carlson out of Mackinac, North Dakota, riding a 76 Mercury. So we have 4 scheduled for race 27, Superstock 250, 300, and 340 fan class. Race number 27 on your schedule, brought to you by FXR, Moosehead, Twisted Tea, MacDon, and the Howland Hotel. Doug Bettel on the inside on the 866 from Anola, Manitoba. We are racing. Great start for the number 15 of Sheldon Carlson out of Mackinac, North Dakota, 76 Mercury, with a huge lead already. Attention to the pit area. Next up, race 28, Junior 1 Sprint 380 class. Then the Pro Champ 440s will run round 2. Sheldon Carlson out of Mackinac, North Dakota, with a huge lead here. 57J second, Joe Bruce from St. Anne, Manitoba. Doug Bettel third, and the 13 is John Hall out of Beausejour on a 76 Polaris. He is in the 4th and final spot currently. Big lead for the number 15, Sheldon Carlson. Joe Bruce, the 57J, followed by the 866 of Doug Bettel out of Anola, Manitoba. Looks like John Hall out of Beausejour slowing on the inside of the front straightaway. He will come to a stop and dismount. White flag is out for the leader. 3 down, 1 to go. Your leader working in turn number 3 and 4 on the final lap here. Sheldon Carlson out of Beckenock, North Dakota on the 1976 Mercury out of turn number 4. And checkers. That was your Superstock 250, 300, 340 fan final for 4 laps. No doubt about that one. Sheldon Carlson on the number 15 out of Beckenock, North Dakota takes victory. 57J is Joe Bruce. The 866 Doug Bedall unofficially finishing 3rd. John Hall out of Beausejour on the 76 Polaris still stopped on the inside of the front straightaway. Next up should be your race 28, which is the Junior 1 Sprint 380 class. 12 to 14-year-olds for 5 laps. Jocelyn Rathke out of Wausau, Wisconsin will ride the number 30. The 434 will be Miranda Peterson from Lancaster, Minnesota, aboard a 2000 GPR chassis. The 199 is going to be Lawrence Egg out of Greenbush, Minnesota, riding a 2019 Premier chassis. And the 59 is Hunter Johnson from Drayton, North Dakota. And Hunter will be aboard a 2017 Wall Brothers Racing chassis. So race 28, Junior 1 Sprint 380 class. We have 4 registered. Let's see if they all make it. John Hall able to make it off on his own power. Beausejour, Manitoba rider number 13 headed back to the pit area to check things out. All right, awaiting the arrival of race 28. After that, race 29, Pro Champ 440. Race 30 will see the return of the ATV class for 5 laps. Race 31, Pro Mod 340, Super Mod 340, and Super Stock 440 Final for 3 laps. Then we will go to a Cubex intermission break. All right, once again, Pro Champ 440 up following this race. Then the ATVs and the Pro Mod 340, Super Mod 340, and Super Stock 440 Final. Those are your next 3 or 4 races. Well, Jocelyn Rathke out of Wausau, Wisconsin on the number 30, scheduled to start inside, elects not to. We'll start on the outside here. And getting set to go, here we go. Jocelyn Rathke out of Wausau, Wisconsin on the number 30, explodes off the starting line real quick, and she is on her way. This one scheduled for 5 laps. One down as the 199 tries to catch up. That's Lawrence Egg out of Greenbush. Good racing between the 434 and the 59. Miranda Peterson is on the 434. Hunter Johnson on the 59. Another lap down for the number 30, Jocelyn Rathke out of Wausau, Wisconsin, followed by Egg out of Greenbush. Jocelyn Rathke has this one figured out, no question about that. White flag coming out this time around for your race leader, Jocelyn Rathke out of Wausau, Wisconsin. Almost a full straightaway lead on the number 199 of Lawrence Egg out of Greenbush. That is a 2019 Premier chassis in the second spot. But right now it is all Jocelyn Rathke out of Wausau, Wisconsin. And there's your winner, the number 30 officially 12 to 14-year-olds, Junior 1 Sprint 380 class. Jocelyn Rathke out of Wausau, Wisconsin will win on the number 30, following by the 199 of Lawrence Egg from Greenbush, Minnesota. All right, if you refer to your race schedule for race 29, scratch the number 8 of Travis McDonald out of Goner, Manitoba, and the 7 NY of Nick Lagoy, the wild child out of Morrisonville, New York, on the 2020 Arctic Cat. Nick Lagoy will not compete, nor will Travis McDonald. In this race, however, the 102, sponsored by Wall Brothers Racing, this is Blaine Stevenson. He is out of Hutchinson, Minnesota. Number 39 is Tom Olson, also a Wall Brothers Racing entry. Tom Olson on the 39. This is a 2020 Polaris. Add the 220 of G-Money Gunnar Stern out of West Chicago, Illinois, the 3-time TLR Cup champion. Last year's CPTC champion. On the 220 will compete in this one. The 88 is Brennan Boxall from Warman, Saskatchewan. Brennan is on a 2014 Wall Brothers Racing chassis. And the 13, of course, in his 25th and final year of racing, Nick Van Stridonk out of Tomahawk, Wisconsin. He rides a 2019 Polaris and is sponsored by FXR and Amsoil. Pro Champ 440, round 2 for 5 laps coming up now. McDonald and Lagoy are out. Gunnar Stern is in. Oh, there is McDonald. Travis McDonald is in. He was an earlier scratch, so that is good news for the team out of Goner, Manitoba. Years ago, won both Saturday and Sunday at the December Beaujeu races. Did the number 8. Travis McDonald, sponsored by XPS. Lots of Wall Brothers Racing chassis on the inside of turn number 1. Blaine Stevenson and Tom Olson get a great start. This is your Pro Champ 440 class. Round 2 for 5 laps. Stevenson, Olson, and Stern, your top 3 so far here. Here they come out of turn number 4 here in the Pro Champ 440 round 2 5-lapper. Travis McDonald battling with Nick Van Stridonk. 149 kilometers per hour for your race leader on the previous lap. Stevenson, Olson, and Gunnar Stern, along with Van Stridonk and McDonald. Great racing for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th here in the Pro Champ 440 race. 156 kilometers per hour on the previous lap. Coming around now to take the white flag is your race leader. Lane Stevenson on the 102, sponsored by Wall Brothers Racing. And Polaris, he is moving. And he'll be your winner. Stevenson, Olson, Stern, Van Stridonk, and McDonald, your top 5, followed by the number 88 of Brennan Boxall out of Warman, Saskatchewan. 2014 Wall Brothers Racing chassis coming home in the back spot. Next up, ATVs, and we'll bring you the lineup momentarily for race number 30 on your schedule. ATVs for 5 laps. Couple of races before a Quebec's intermission break. Race 30, the ATVs, and race 31, Pro Mod 340, Super Mod 340, and Super Stock 440 Final. Here is race number 30 for your ATV division. The 22 is Dustin Fournier-Bresky out of Labroquerie, Manitoba. The 12 is Tyrone Weeb. Riding the 215 is Stefan Weeb out of Woodlands. 13 is Cody Bedian out of Marchand, Manitoba. Riding the 11 is Paul Reed. The 34 is Mark Sexton out of Lorette, Manitoba. The 108 is Bruce Dean. The 22 is Austin Lewandowski out of Winnipeg. The 23, Adam Halfrick out of Enola. And the 20 is Peter Friesen from Steinbach. So that is your lineup in your ATV race. Only the second time ever for these riders to hit the racetrack here, the big half mile in Beausejour. Riley, our starter, looking him over. This one's scheduled for 5 laps. All right, getting set to go in the ATV division here. Race 30 on your daily schedule. Don't forget, we're starting tomorrow. We're shooting for 10:30, not 11 o'clock. So 10:30 start tomorrow on Sunday. If you're in the Pro Mod 340, Super Mod 340, and Super Stock 440 Final, you should be in staging. Looks like we have a total of 4 for our next race. That one will be 3 laps. Riley looks him over and waves the green flag. Here we go. Those things do have a burly sound, you're right. Throaty. Great battle down the back straightaway in the ATV class. Yeah, the guy, what is that, third last? That looks like the most racy quad out there, and he's second last. I don't know what's going on there. Stefan Weeb is on the 215, a great battle for the lead. Believe the 34 is Mark Sexton. He's from Lorette, Manitoba, 2015 Can-Am entry. 103 kilometers per hour. That's moving pretty good, about, well, 60 miles an hour, 62, 3, yeah. That is the 34 in the second spot, indeed. 13, Cody Bedian out of Marchand, Manitoba. This one's scheduled for 5 laps. Stefan Weeb is flying. Sexton unable to catch him. Cody Bedian out of Marchand, Manitoba, remains in the third spot. The race is over in turn 3 and 4 now with the leaders as they come down the front straightaway to collect the white flag, indicating just one more lap to go. 215 and the 34 in the top 2 spots. And they are pulling away from the field. Wow. 2:15 sliding through the corner. That's Stefan Wiebe out of Woodlands, Manitoba. 2011 Can-Am will take the win. Second spot to the 34 out of Lorette is Mark Sexton. 5-lap ATV race has come to a conclusion. And that'll do it. Race 31. Last race before another Quebec's grooming break. Race 31, Pro Mod 340, Super Mod 340, and Super Stock 440 Final. 65 is Norm Chura. The 94B is Jesse Seifer. The 47 will be Kirby Kaltoff out of Humboldt, Saskatchewan. And we need to add Dylan Bradner on a 75 Yamaha out of Medford, Wisconsin. That rider will be number 71N. 71N Dylan Bradner on the 75 Yamaha will be added to race 31 before this Quebec's intermission break. Many thanks going out to our sponsors once again, FXR, Moosehead, Twisted Tea, MacDon, and the Howland Hotel. I'd also like to say thank you to the RM of Broken Head and the town of Beausejour for all of their generous support. So, 4 competitors scheduled to start this one. Dylan Bradner on the 75 Yamaha, number 71N, should start on the outside here. Maybe not. Second from the outside. Good-looking 94B of Jesse Seifer is out of Medford, Wisconsin. That is a 77 John Deere. Neat-looking sled. Don't see too many of those around. Norm Chura on the inside on the number 65. Norm is out of Enola, Manitoba, riding a 1973 Polaris. Racing into turn number 3. This one is scheduled for just 3 laps. It'll be a quick one. Change to 4 laps, we understand. 1 down, 3 to go. Racing in turn 3 and 4. This time around, it'll be 2 down and 2 to go. Norm Chura being pursued by the 47 of Kirby Kaltoff, 1977 Yamaha. The John Deere is third. That's Jesse Seifer out of Medford, Wisconsin. 121 kilometers per hour on the previous lap for Norm Chura out of Enola, who will collect the white flag this time around, indicating 1 lap to go. Kirby Kaltoff occupying the second spot, still unable to catch the flying Norm Chura. And checkered flags out. Your winner is going to be Norm Chura, followed by Kirby Kaltoff on the number 47. Kirby is out of Humboldt, Saskatchewan on the 1977 Yamaha. He will come home in second. Look at this race. Wow, that's a close one. Good-looking John Deere, the 77 John Deere of Jesse Seifer, comes across the line. And that'll do it. Time for a Quebec's intermission break. Don't forget to visit the beer garden. Full line of CPTC promo wear available. Do check that out. This will be your Champ 440 Final for 7 laps. And on the inside, G-Money Gunnar Stern on the number 220, the Red Bull Skidoo out of West Chicago, Illinois. 3-time TLR Cup champion. And last year's winner of the Canadian Power Toboggan Championships. Many wins. Wausau 525 to his credit. The 102 beside him is Blaine Stevenson out of Hutchinson, Minnesota, sponsored by Polaris and Wall Brothers Racing. 22 is Andrew Dara. Missing from this, the 8 of Travis McDonald. And it looks like the 13 of Nick Van Stridonk won't make it either. So a 3-sled race for 7 laps. Here we go, G-Money Gunnar Stern with the hole shot. Blaine Stevenson following the 22 side by side and has the second spot, does Blaine Stevenson. Right now it is all Gunnar Stern, G-Money out of West Chicago, Illinois, the Red Bull number 220 multi-time champion. Looking real good here in the Champ 440 final. Blaine Stevenson on the 102, sponsored by Wall Brothers Racing, right on his tail and is within striking distance. '22, of course, is Andrew Dara out of Whitney, Ontario. He's on a 2019 Skidoo. 163 kilometers per hour on the previous circuit. Blaine Stevenson doing a great job in the second spot on the Wall Brothers Racing 102. Gunnar Stern, your leader, simply flying out here. Attention in the pit area. Next race, your Pro Formula 500 final is coming up next. Then race 34 will be the Pro Lite Final. Race 35, Sportsman 600 round 2. Gunnar Stern continues to extend his lead now on the 102 of Blaine Stevenson. Just 3 competitors in this race 32, your Champ 440 final. White flag indicating one more lap for G-Money Gunnar Stern. West Chicago, Illinois' Gunnar Stern, a storied snowmobile career, leading once again here in the closing laps of this Champ 440 final. Checkered flag for Gunnar Stern, second of Blaine Stevenson, the Jimmy John's Polaris FXR entry, and third to the number 22. That is Andrew Dara out of Whitney, Ontario, 2019 Skidoo mounted rider, comes home in the third and final spot. All right, a great big lineup for race number 33. This ought to be a great one. This is your Pro Formula 500 final. 7 laps will be the distance. And here's how they line up. The 113 is out of Strathcona, Minnesota. The rider is Kendra Westland. And aboard the number 91, keep your eyes on this rider. Sam Glure is out of Whitemouth, Manitoba, riding a 1989 Polaris. Sam Glure on the number 91. The 964 is from Clear Lake, Minnesota. The rider is Colton Graber. The 24, sponsored by Sobetsky Enterprises, is Jordan Sobetsky. He is from right here in Beausejour. The number 87 is Madison Phillips from Drayton. The 113A is Aaron Davey from Middle River, Minnesota. Riding the 334 is Dalton Fredrickson. Dalton is from Thief River Falls, Minnesota, riding a 1989 Arctic Cat. The 48 is Brian Healy from Lorette. This is a 1990 Polaris. Bruce Rosentreader is aboard the Acme out of Whitemouth, Manitoba. Number 96 is Bruce Rosentreader. And the 965 is Austin Graber out of Clear Lake, Minnesota. That is your lineup for race number 33, the Pro Formula 500 final. 7 laps is the distance. All right, here we go. This should be an awesome race. Race 33. The Pro Formula 500 Final. 7 laps and lots of snowmobiles. Austin Graber on the extreme outside. Austin out of Clear Lake, Minnesota. That is a 1990 Polaris, number 965. Riley looks him over, getting set to go racing here. Pro Formula 500 Final. And they are off. 91 Sam Glure with a great start. Started inside, well, second from inside did Sam Glure start out of Whitemouth, Manitoba. And looking great here. Look at the action in turn 3 and 4. These riders are close. Wow. '91 in the 113, the 964 is third. Colton Graber out of Clear Lake, Minnesota on the 964, currently running in the third position. Kendra Westland is aboard the 113, clawing away at the lead. (113A) is Aaron Davey. We've got problems on the outside of the front straightaway. Looks like we got a red flag. There's a rider stopped on the outside of the front straightaway. So we will need our safety crew over to the front straightaway to assist. Don't forget the beer garden remains open throughout the day. CPTC promo wear is available over there. Grab yourself a nice cold one and some CPTC promo wear. All right, so we will restart this race number 33, Pro Formula 500 Final. If you are in the pit area, here's what the next races look like. Race 34 will be the Pro Lite Final for 7 laps. Race 35, Sportsman 600 round 2 for 5 laps. Race 36 will be the Formula 3 class, all new for this season. The race 37 will be Junior 2 Sprint 380. Race 38 will be your IFS 440X Final. And 39 will be Sport Formula 500 Final, then a quick Cubex intermission grooming break, and then we'll go to our Pro Champ Final. Tough break for the 113 of Kendra Westland. One of the top runners in the Pro Formula 500 class, Kendra Westland, will head back to the pit area with a broken machine. Cool Down Racing Video Productions bringing you all the action here from Beausejour on day number 1. We're back tomorrow at 10:30 right here in Beausejour at the CPTC Raceplex. Riley is our flagman and will signal to the riders to come down to the starting line for this restart. They will restart in the order they were at the red flag. And that should bring the number 91 to the starting line first. That is none other than Sam Glure out of Whitemouth, Manitoba. 1989 Polaris showing the way at the red flag. Ryan Healy is out of Lorette, Manitoba. (964) is Colton Graber. All right, it looks like the 964 off to the pit area. We'll try to get your report on that situation. Aaron Davey on the 113, being joined by the number 24. Jordan Sobetsky, the Sobetsky Enterprises 24. Madison Phillips is out of Drayton, North Dakota on the 87, the 334. Is Dalton Fredrickson. 965 is Austin Graber. 96 is Bruce Rosentreader. And here we go once again, Pro Formula 500 Final. This race originally scheduled for 7 laps. Good racing action in turn number 1 and 2. Race 33 on your schedule is this Pro Formula 500 Final. 130 kilometers per hour on the previous lap. Look at this battle up front. Wow. We knew it would be a close one. Sam Bloor and Brian Healy getting at it. Dalton Fredrickson is third, waiting for a mistake on the part of the top 2 here. What a race, wow. Dalton Fredrickson on the 334 is edging up on the leaders here. One of the most competitive classes here at the CPTC Raceplex. Pro Formula 500s on the racetrack, and they are moving along. Looks like we have some more headlights in turn number 3. Thank you. Look at this race. The number 48 of Brian Healy out of Lorette making this one a great one. Oh, heads up, we've got a crash. Heads up in turn number 1 and 2. We have a collision in turn 1 and 2. That'll bring about a red flag. And we'll get you an update from turn 1 and 2 just as soon as we can. All right, here comes the number 48. That rider, Brian Healy out of Lorette, the 334. Is Dalton Fredrickson, the 87. That is Madison Phillips. Jordan Sobetsky on the 24. The 113A is Aaron Davey. The 965 is Austin Graber. The 96 is Bruce Rosentreader out of Whitemouth, Manitoba on the 2015 Acme chassis. 2-lap showdown here in the Pro Formula 500 Final. Good start for the 334 as he pulls alongside Healy in turn 1. Brian Healy out of Lorette, Manitoba. Flying into turn number 3. There is motion and movement in turn 3, and oh boy, awful close over there. Almost contact. Look at this race for second, third, and fourth. Almost 3 wide as Brian Healy on the 48 rides away. Checkered flag is in the hands of Riley, our head flagman, as Healy speeds down the back straightaway. Great racing action in these closing 2 laps. Wow. This, of course, brought to you by FXR, Macdon, the Howland Hotel, Moosehead, and Twisted Tea. Winner, the number 48, Brian Healy, Fredrickson, and Phillips. Rosentreader fourth on the number 96 out of Whitemouth. That was a good showdown, wasn't it? Great job by the number 48 of Brian Healy out of Lorette, Manitoba, riding his 1990 Polaris to victory in that one. All right, coming up now, race 34 on your schedule. Pro Lite Final for 7 laps. The 88 is Brennan Boxall. Riding the 115 is Dylan Aganostopoulos out of Cedarburg, Wisconsin. The H20 is Christopher Huther out of Medford, Wisconsin. The number 10 is Stephen Mankey. He's from Lodi, Wisconsin. Riding the number 1 is Griffin Lepak. The 95 is Jerry LePage from Murillo, Ontario. And the 17 is out of Beausejour. This is Jared Sackvey. Jared Sackvey on the number 17 out of Beausejour. Dylan Anagostopoulos out of Cedarburg, Wisconsin on the 115. Inside second. Pro Lite Final. 7 laps is the distance. We're going to turn them loose here in Beausejour. Here we go. Rough ride for the number 95 off the starting line. Red flag is out as 95 raising his hands in the air. All right, so red flag, we will restart this race. Looking at the cool down replay. So what did happen there, Anthony? Just lose control at the starting line? Slid right off the back of the seat, huh? Is there any contact? We're just trying to check out this replay. Didn't look like there was contact. Cool Down Racing Video Productions with us here, bringing you all the internet action as we will restart race 34, the Pro Lite Final. Looks like he just fell off, huh? Well, if that's the case, I think he needs to start in the back, right? Yep, and he will. Riley says stop right there. Let's see if the 95 of Jerry LePage can get a little better handle on it this time. Uh-oh. Well, he's trying to join the front row, but I don't think that's going to work. Well, if he's in the second row, what do you do with him now? Okay, it was somebody else that jumped the start. All right, okay. That's why we've got replays. Once again, Riley, our head flagman, bringing him to the starting line. Number 88, Brennan Boxall, out of Warman, Saskatchewan. The 115 of Dylan. That's a tough one. Anagostopoulos. That's the longest last name I've ever seen. Anagostopoulos, it looks like. Dylan Anagostopoulos out of Cedarburg, Wisconsin. And he has the whole shot. Anagostopoulos out of Cedarburg, Wisconsin on the 115 is flying down the back chute. Guy with the longest last name I've ever seen is going to lead this race. It could have been Smith, but no. I got to work. Anagostopoulos out of Cedarburg, Wisconsin, the number 115 showing the way down the back chute. 156 kilometers per hour on the previous circuit. Look at the race for the number 1 spot. And we got a roll in turn number 3. Jared Sackvey currently second out of Beausejour. We've got a rider in the bales. Rider is standing. That is good news. The bales slightly rearranged in turn number 3 and 4. But that is what our track crew's for. They will head on over there and clean it up in turn 3. But good news, the rider is walking around.
Oh, you're kidding. Well, that's easier. So Dylan, what is this? Anagastopoulos, actually registered as Dylan the Greek. That's what he wants to be referred to. That's Greek is way easier than the last name. So I'll just use Dylan the Greek. That was his idea. That's what he said at registration. Anagastopoulos was leading at the red flag. All right, so race 35 coming up next. Sportsman 600s, then the Formula 3s, followed by the Junior 2 Sprint 380s, then the IFS 440X Final, then the Sport Formula 500 Final, then a quick grooming break, followed by the Pro Champ Final. Once again, we'd like to say thank you to FXR, along with Moosehead, Twisted Tea, MacDon, and the Howland Hotel. Also like to thank the RM of Broken Head in the town of Beausejour for all of their generous support. Well, looks like involved over in turn number 3 is Jerry LePage on the number 95. He is out of Murillo, Ontario, on the 2018 Acrolite chassis. So a rough start, twice off the sled, of course, once at the starting line and once into the bales in turn number 3 for Jerry LePage, the longtime racing veteran out of Murillo, Ontario, that 95. And Jerry LePage will head back to the pit area and will not restart this race. Pro Lite Final on the racetrack. Race 34 on your schedule. Pro Lite Final for 7 laps. Dylan Anagastopoulos out of Cedarburg, Wisconsin will lead into turn 1, followed by the 17 of Jared Sackvey from Beausejour. Good-looking FXR sled. Griffin Lepak is out of Hartford, Wisconsin, riding the number 1. 88, of course, Brennan Boxall from Warman, Saskatchewan. The H2O, Christopher Huther out of Medford, Wisconsin. And the 10 is Stephen Mankey out of Lodi, Wisconsin. Here we go, the 1 with a great start. Griffin Lepak pounds on the throttle and takes over the second spot. Sackvey drops to third. Great start by the one of Griffin Lepak out of Hartford, Wisconsin. 2019 Arctic Cat now being challenged once again by Jared Sackvey from Beausejour. Great racing for second and third spot here. Dylan Anagostopoulos out of Cedarburg, Wisconsin is the leader on the number 115, ticking off the laps here in the Pro Lite Final. Sackvey in the second spot. Jared Sackvey on a 2012 Skidoo out of Beausejour. Looking pretty strong, not letting the leader get away by very much. Keep your eyes on the outside of turn number 4. This is a race. Brennan Boxall right there as well. This is a great race. 3 riders here really in contention. And Anagostopoulos now on the inside, Sackvey a little higher up. Whoa, heads up. The 88 goes down. Heads up. All right, well, the rider is up. Looks like he caught a bit of a ski, maybe part of the track, and went over fairly easily. The sled over in turn number 1 and 2, and I believe that is the number 88. Sled never even touched the bales. Well, some close racing here in the Pro Lite Final, but another red flag. Well, just looking at the Cool Down Racing Video Productions replay, looks like the 88 got his ski hooked in there a little bit. Left ski and then went upside down, huh? Not while the rider did, not the sled. Sled continue. There's a great replay coming down the front straightaway. But that's a lap behind, I think, right? Yep. Yeah, one more lap here and we'll see exactly what happened. Great 3 sled race down the back straightaway on the replay. All right, we understand the 88 will restart, but it is deemed his fault in that collision, so he will start at the back, but he can continue. So good news, no damage to the sled, no damage to the rider. On what has been a pretty busy day today for our track crew. All right, Dylan Anagostopoulos on the 115. 17 is Jared Sackvey. The 1 is Griffin Lepak, who had a great start last time. Let's see if he can duplicate it. Christopher Huther out of Medford, Wisconsin is on the H2O. The 10 is Stephen Mankey. He's from Lodi, Wisconsin. The 88, Brennan Boxall, will get another shot here. He was fast at the red flag. Anagostopoulos with a great start. Once again, the number 115 leads this one. White flag will be out this time, just a 2-lap dash to the finish. Well, a good start is very important. I thought Sackvey had this one in the bag, but Dylan Anagostopoulos out of Cedarburg, Wisconsin with a great restart. And he's got company down the back chute, but if he can stay smooth, he's going to win this race. Here they come. Dylan Anagostopoulos wins it going away. Jared Factory out of Beausejour in the second spot. Great closing laps in your Pro Lite Final. Race number 34 is in the books. All right, so race 35 on deck. Sportsman 600, round 2 for 5 laps. The 16 is going to be DJ Saluk. Saluk is out of Beausejour. The 23, Will Manchelenko. Riding the 26 out of Beausejour is Quinn Whitechuck. Brett Keelback is out of West Pine Ridge, Manitoba. And he's on the number 39. 13 is John Hall from Beausejour. The 3 is Shane Wagner. Riding the 223 is Adam Braun. The 72 is Ryan Fleeshacker out of Humboldt, Minnesota. And the 116 is John Zielinski. Race 35. Here we go, Sportsman 600, round 2 for 5 laps, lots of riders. Let's watch the action in turn number 1. John Zielinski on the number 116. On the outside, longtime racing veteran. Here we go. It's going to be tight in turn number 1 and 2 as your Sportsman 600 class takes off. Positions changing down the back straightaway and into turn 3. Here comes your leaders out of turn 4. DJ Saluk aboard the number 16 out of Beausejour, Manitoba. That is a 2000 Polaris, running very well. Second spot is Keelback, the 39 out of Beausejour. 23, third, Will Manchelenko from St. Malo, Manitoba. That is a 1996 Skidoo. 133 kilometers per hour on the previous lap. This race 35 scheduled for 5 laps. White flag coming out this time around for your race leader in the Sportsman 600 class. And there it is, 1 to go for your race leader, the number 16, DJ Saluk. Big lead over the 39 in second spot. 39, Brett Keelback out of West Pine Ridge. Manchelenko third. 72 is Ryan Fleeshacker out of Humboldt, Minnesota, riding a 1997 Polaris. DJ Saluk is going to win this one. Keelback will be second. Brett Keelback out of West Pine Ridge, Manchelenko, then the 72 of Fleeshacker, and the 26 of Quinn Whitechuck from Beausejour will round out the top 5. Looks like we got a sled in turn number 2. All right, next up, the all-new Formula 3 class, said to be the 2021 World Championship class at Eagle River. Race 36 on your schedule, Formula 3 for 5 laps. The 13 is Nick Van Stridonk. I don't know if he is a scratch. There is the 220 of Gunnar Stern. 39 joining the party as well. That is Tom Olson out of Greenbush, the Wall Brothers Racing. Number 39. Formula 3 for 5 laps. Based on a snowcross type chassis with many modifications. Good start for Nick Van Stridonk. He was the first to practice here yesterday on this all-new Formula 3 sled. Worked throughout the summer to build it. Nick Van Stridonk out of Tomahawk, Wisconsin on a 2020 Polaris. Here comes the 39 Wall Brothers Racing sponsored entry, Tom Olson out of Greenbush. He is strong here. Racing in race number 36 on your schedule of 40 scheduled on the day. 39 to 13 in the top 2 here and battling. 152 kilometers per hour on the previous circuit. Great racing for second and third. Gunnar Stern out of West Chicago, G-Money, 3-time TLR champion, moving now into the second spot. White flag will be out. Checkered flag is in the hands of Riley as they race through turn 3 and 4. This has been a close one, this class with lots of potential. Your winner, the number 39, followed by Stern, and the 13 of Nick Van Stridonk finishing in the third spot. Next up, race 37, Junior 2 Sprint 380 class for 14 to 17-year-olds. 5 laps will be the distance. They will be up next. Race 37 on your schedule coming up. This is the Junior 2 Sprint 380 class for 14 to 17-year-olds. 5 laps will be the distance. Riding out of Greenbush, Minnesota, the number 199 is going to be Lawrence Egg. He is on a 2019 Premier chassis. The 158 is Hunter Van Reen out of Tomahawk, Wisconsin. The 29 is Ashton Christensen. He is from Luck, Wisconsin, on a 2016 Arrow. Riding a 2000 Skidoo out of Wausau, Wisconsin. The 30 is Jocelyn Rafke, and the 434 is Miranda Peterson. Miranda is from Lancaster, Minnesota, and rides a GPR chassis. All right, race 37 on the schedule. While riding the number 29 is Ashton Christensen out of Luck, Wisconsin. That is a 2016 Aero chassis. Hunter Van Reen out of Tomahawk, Wisconsin on the 158. (127 kilometers per hour on the previous lap. This one scheduled for 5. Once again, I'd like to thank our great sponsors, FXR, MacDon, the Howland Hotel, Moosehead, and Twisted Tea. Of course, Moosehead and Twisted Tea available right now at the Beer Garden. Good race down the back straightaway. It is close for the number 1 and 2 spots. Junior 2 Sprint 380 class for 14 to 17-year-olds. Look at this battle. Hunter Van Reen out of Tomahawk, Wisconsin is your leader. Dropping to second spot, Ashton Christensen out of Luck, Wisconsin. He is on the number 29. White flag coming out this time around in race 37. We're almost done, 1 to go. Jocelyn Rathke on the number 30 from Wausau, Wisconsin. That is a 2000 Skidoo chassis. Looks like the 29 slowing a bit. Ashton Christensen on the back straightaway. Winner number 158, Hunter Van Reen out of Tomahawk, Wisconsin. 30-29 in the 199 of Lawrence Egg. Round out the top 4. Next up, race 38, your IFS 440X Final. If you've got your race schedule, cross off 5 laps. This one is scheduled now for 3. 3 riders, 3 laps. All right, race 38 coming up. The 21 is Tyler Obi out of Beausejour. He rides a 1979 Skidoo. The 370 is Matt Zalai from Garson. Good-looking 81 motoski. And another motoski, a 1978 model, is Tyson Bizdell out of Enola. This one's scheduled for 3 circuits. Rescheduled, actually. It was scheduled for 5. It is now 3 laps. Slick job by the number 21 as he battles in turn number 1 and 2. 370 is Matt Zalai, the 511 Tyson Bizdell out of Enola, Manitoba. 1 down, 2 to go. Look at this race up front. Wow. Matt Zalai battling with Tyler Obi. 152 kilometers per hour. Two down, 1 to go. Look at this battle. Wow. Great racing action. Heads up in turn 1 and 2. Obi almost connects. Matt Zalai on the 370 is flying, and he's got some distance between himself and the 21. Checkered flag is in the air, and it's going to be the 370 of Matt Zalai. Tyler Olby with a great job as well. Second spot on the 21, the 511 Tyson Buzdell out of Enola will finish in the third and final position. Next up, the Sport Formula 500 Final. 7 laps will be the distance. Then a grooming break, then the Pro Champ Final, brought to you by FXR, MacDon, the Howland Hotel, Moosehead, and Twisted Tea. All right, 39. Race 39, Sport Formula 500 Final for 7 laps. The 964 is Colton Graber out of Clear Lake, Minnesota, riding from Thief River Falls, Minnesota. The 334 is Dalton Fredrickson. On the number 965 is Austin Graber out of Clear Lake, Minnesota, a 1990 Polaris for the 965. The 113 is Aaron Davey. The 9 is Stefan Kerrigan. He's from Winnipeg. The 29 is Ashton Christensen. The 2B is Dylan Bradner. The 223, Adam Braun. The 54, Tom Keelback from Beausejour. The 13 is Kieran Lowen. All right, scratch Dalton Fredrickson on the 334. Scratch Tom Keelback on the 54. The 964 and 965 with a great hole shot here. Colton Graber on the 964 from Clear Lake, Minnesota. The 965 is Austin Graber. Sport Formula 500 Final, here they come. The 113A is Aaron Davey out of Middle River, Minnesota. Looking pretty strong in this field so far. This race brought to you by FXR. .965 in the second spot, but the 113A of Aaron Davey trying to change that over in turn number 1 and 2. 130 kilometers per hour on the previous lap. This is race 39 of a total of 40 on the day. Just one left after this one, but first it'll be a Quebec's grooming break. Great battle for second and third. The 29 right there in fourth. That is Ashton Christensen out of Luck, Wisconsin. Still green here in race number 39. Colton Graber pulling away. Aaron Davey, the 965 third, is Austin Graber. Side by side into turn number 3 on the back straightaway. That is a great race. Looks like 2 to go for the race leader, the number 964 of Colton Graber, with about a half straightaway lead on the 113A of Aaron Davey and the 965 of Austin Graber. White flag, 1 to go for your leader, Colton Graber out of Clear Lake, Minnesota. The 89 Polaris showing the way. Currently in the 5th spot, the 9 Stefan Kerrigan. He's from Winnipeg on a 1991 Skidoo. But look at your leader go. He has got a huge lead. Colton Graber on the 964 from Clear Lake, Minnesota. It looks like that 89 Polaris will take the checkered flag. That'll do it. Second spot to the 113 of Davey, the 965 of Graber third. Those are your top 3 in the Sport Formula 500 Final. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, now time for a Cubex grooming intermission break. We'll do that real quick and then come back with your Pro Champ Final for 10 laps. All right, it is time now for your final race of the day. Don't forget, tomorrow we start at 10:30 here at the CPTC. Race 40 today, however, your Pro Champ Final 10 laps is the distance, the 102 out of Greenbush, Minnesota, sponsored by Wall Brothers Racing. This is Blaine Stevenson. Blaine is on a 2020 Polaris. The number 39 is Tom Olson, also a Wall Brothers Racing sponsored entry. 39 Tom Olson out of Greenbush on a 2020 Polaris Wall chassis. The number 8 is Travis McDonald out of Goner, Manitoba, 2016 Skidoo. 220 is G-Money, three-time TLR Cup champion. Gunnar Stern on the 220 out of West Chicago, Illinois. 2020 Skidoo XRS. And the 13, of course, in his 25th and final year of racing. Out of Tomahawk, Wisconsin, a two-time Eagle River champion, two-time CPTC champion. The 13 is Nick Van Strydom. Just a reminder to have your headlights off around trackside parking, please. I do see somebody in turn number 2 with their headlights on. Here we go racing, Pro Champ Final, 10 laps. They are moving down the back chute. Wow. Here they come down the front chute. Great job by the 102 Blaine Stevenson. Wall Brothers Racing entry looking strong here. This is race number 40. The Pro Champ Final, 10 laps is the distance. We've got a couple in the books already. Gunnar Stern and Travis McDonald round out the top 3, but Blaine Stevenson right now has got that 102 flying. 153 kilometers per hour. Travis McDonald trying to gather up the 220. G-Money Gunnar Stern in the second spot out of West Chicago, Illinois. It's a good race. Look at the action for 4th and 5th. Van Strydonk in the 4th spot, the Tomahawk, Wisconsin native. Cross flags being displayed. We're halfway through this one already. In the 5th spot, Tom Olson out of Greenbush, Minnesota, the Wall Brothers Racing number 39. His teammate up front, the 102, Blaine Stevenson, an Eagle River World Champion. He's got one to his credit. Freaky Fast Jimmy John's 102, also sponsored by Polaris and Wall Brothers Racing. Blaine Stevenson showing the way in this 10-lap Pro Champ Final. While the top 3 staying about the same distance apart. Wondering if Van Strydonk in the 4th spot is gaining a little bit of speed here. He appears to be reeling in 3rd spot just a little bit. Blaine Stevenson, wow, is he moving along. The Wall Brothers Racing, Jimmy John's Polaris in the closing laps. In fact, just one more to go. Stevenson, Gunnar Stern, Travis McDonald, Van Strydonk, and Tom Olson in the top 5 and the only 5 on the racetrack in your Pro Champ Final. Day number 1 drawing to a close here at the CPTC Raceplex, and your winner is going to be the 102 of Blaine Stevenson. Gunnar Stern, Travis McDonald, Van Stridon, and Tom Olson round out the top 5. Nice job by the 102 of Blaine Stevenson. That rider out of Hutchinson, Minnesota, the sled out of the Wall Brothers Racing Shop in Greenbush, Minnesota. A great win for Wall Brothers Racing, Jimmy Johns and Polaris. Blaine Stevenson on the 102 takes the big win. Don't forget, under the lights right now are the mini sleds. You'll want to check them out on the other side of the racetrack. And we're back here tomorrow at 10:30 for more race action. How about a hand for him, Blaine Stevenson? Great job. While Blaine Stevenson takes the reverse victory lap here, Wall Brothers Racing Polaris with a strong showing here in that Pro Champ Final, race number 40. Again, a reminder, the beer garden is open. Get your CPTC racewear over there. Grab yourself a nice cold one. Tomorrow, 10:30, we are told we are starting. 10:30 on Sunday. Thanks very much for coming out, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We hope you had a great time, and we'll see you tomorrow at 10:30 here at the CPTC Raceplex.